Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are ready. Because I'm ready. Make sure when you come on that you are sharing. Sharing means caring. Hey, Debbie, I see you popped on. Hello, good morning, afternoon. Of course, depending on your time zone, it's still morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. While I'm waiting on everybody to pop in, I'm going to just check a couple things real quick on my end. Since I'm kind of really now just sitting in front of my laptop. Let's see. You know, I start classes Tuesday, so making sure I got all that stuff together too. Hey, Jafar. Hey, Glenisha. Hey, Vernisha. Good morning and good afternoon. Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Yes, it's a new year. New year, new things coming. So I hope you guys are excited for this new year. Listen, I didn't make any New Year's resolutions because, yeah, already it wasn't going to be happening, okay? What's up, Rika? Rika! Look, I already knew it wasn't happening, so I was not going to obligate myself to a New Year's resolution at all. I was not. Nope. Look, working out, yeah, okay. I don't need to work out. I'm good. I don't need to work out. However, I think I might start walking again. I really enjoy walking. I enjoy going out and really getting the fresh air in the mornings. I might try to do that. I'm not going to say it's going to happen every day, but I might try to do that. But other than that, yeah. Hey, Brittany. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Hey, I think Glenisha says she's new too. Well, welcome to everybody that's new. Hey, my girl, Lisa. Hey, April. I see your name popped in. Yeah, so, oh, there go my Erica. Hey, girl. Hey. All right, so if you're new for the first time, I am Lady Bird. You're watching me live for the first time, just let me know in the comments so I can give you a quick little shout out. Yeah, absolutely. And Brittany, oh wait, Brittany said, oh, I think I did say, child, listen. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Hey, Brittany, look, it's early. I slept late this morning. I kept looking at the clock like, oh, I got another hour. Oh, let me get up. I got 30 minutes. That's how my morning went, okay? I was listen. I was up late scrolling. I was in the rabbit hole of watching all these videos and reels. And, you know, once you get one reel, you just be swiping. Then you realize it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm still woke. Let me put this phone down and go to sleep. All right, you guys. So, as always, what I do at the beginning of every year is I kind of do this whole reset of education and learning, because I want all of my new people that have, been following me coming into like toward the end of the year or in the middle of the year of last year to kind of really understand what it is I do, why I'm here, how'd you find my page, that type of thing. And not that, oh, she on here clowning, oh, she on here going off on somebody. It's not always about that. And actually in 2025, it's not going to be about none of that, okay? I'm gonna tell you now, my inbox is closed for 2025. I went on there and closed it the other day. It's closed. My inbox is closed. I will not be taking inbox messages from anybody. Okay? I'm not. If somebody has a real and important issue that they really need to reach out to me for, they're gonna have to email me. Email me, boo. I need that professional email, okay? I need an email. Because at this point, my inbox is going crazy. I have messages in there that I have not even open and read. I may go in there and see if it's anything I actually do need to respond to. But other than that, my inbox is closed. Nobody can inbox me because I start school January and I ain't got time. I don't. However, if somebody does have important issues, they'll still have a way to contact me. It just won't be through Messenger here on Facebook. Okay. But so what I do HIV and AIDS education. I do sex education. We talk about an array of different things. I don't just leave it in that little window. If somebody comes and say, hey, I want to learn about this type of STD, I want to know about, dating and having STDs, different things, we could branch out to any topic off of that we can. But the main focus is HIV and AIDS education because I feel it's very important to always talk about it. I've met people that are older in age, like 60 and 70 years old, who will tell me, I didn't even know this was still a thing. And I'm like, what do you mean you didn't even know this was still a thing? It's still a thing every second. Every second of every minute of every hour of every day, it is still a thing. And so that shows me that it's something that is really important to continue to talk about. Everybody who's HIV positive is not going to talk about it. There are people who are watching me right now who are HIV positive, and you'll never know it because it is something that they don't have to tell you. If they're not having a sexual relationship with you, they don't have to tell you. And that's their privacy. But I'm a person who went through a situation, and I realized that the only way that other people were going to be aware that they were possibly being put at risk during that situation was by me opening my mouth. Did I have a fear of opening my mouth? Honestly, no, not really. In the beginning, I wasn't afraid, people are going to treat me this way. They're going to look at me differently. They're going to say this and that. I didn't really care about that. What I cared about initially was this man did this to me, and who else could he have done this to? And was I purposely trying to speak publicly about HIV and AIDS? Honestly, no, I wasn't. I just wanted people in the area that we were living in at the time to be aware and to know, people go get tested. This is, you need to go and get tested. And it ended up being this thing of, well, who is she? And this and this. And woke up one morning, and this is when MySpace was still bumping a little bit. MySpace was bumping. Facebook was fairly new. And I got all these friend requests. And I was like, what the hell going on? People was Googling me and finding me on social media. And it just became this thing of people start inboxing me and asking me questions. And I would respond to them in the inbox. But then I was like, you know what? This is getting to be a lot. Let me just write some of these questions down. And once we were able to start doing like live stuff, I say, you know what? I'm going to just start going live and I'm going to start answering these questions. And that moment turned into this moment. Because I actually started doing it on my personal page. My personal page right now, if I make it where people can follow me publicly, has about 19,000 followers on that page. Okay? And I had to separate. I had to get to a point where I said, you know what? I got to separate my personal stuff from this here. Not saying that it doesn't affect my personal life, because it does. However, I was just like, you know what? I just want this page to be my family, my close friends, people I actually care about. Where, if I want to share stuff with the kids that I maybe not want to just share with the whole public or different little things, I can put it here. But over here, whatever I want to talk about, I could put it over here. So that's why we're here right now on this Ladybird page, okay? So shout out to everybody who actually made it to my other page and actually is a friend on my page, my other page. Because I still add people every now and then. Hold on. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of interruptions in this live, so give me a minute. Touch card, I know. Okay, and she's still asleep. I told her to come get you. Come over there when she wakes up. All right? Okay. Hush, Cardi. Hush, girl. Hush, right, that was one of Mila's little friends. She still asleep. Well, she fell back asleep, so she ain't playing. Say hi. So I had to get my ears shaved down because they were matted, and now they're growing back. I don't know. I kind of like her with her ears cut. But she got to get off of me because she going through her first little heat. And I don't need nothing on me. I ain't put her diaper on her. So, you ain't finna get no spots on me, girl. Get down, honey. Get down. All right. So, yeah. So, that's basically why we now have this page here. And why I do what I do. And, long story short. Now, if you guys don't know my story, okay, if you're watching for the first time or you just found me through a reel or this and this and this, hey, Krista girl, yeah, come get her, Krista. Come get her. I can't take it. If you're finding me for the first time and you don't know my story, it is pinned. It's the video that is pinned to the top of my page, okay? I would recommend you go and watch it. Because at some point in the beginning of this year, I am going to go back and I'm going to tell my whole story and do that whole thing. It's just not going to be right now. And I don't want you to get disappointed if you ask me certain questions and I really don't answer or go in depth with it, because that is not what I'm doing right now. But if you want to really understand my story, you can go and watch the pinned video on my page. I did a 20 episode storytelling type thing. You can watch that as well. And that really tells you a lot too. Now, here's the thing. And I need people to understand this. If you're watching any old video on my page and you feel like I'm taking too long to get to the point, guess what you can do? There's this cute little feature where you can fast forward. You can actually speed videos up. Yeah, did you know that? I know it's 2025. Things have advanced so much. But there's a fast forward button. Because I'm finding a lot when people click on the videos, oh, you're taking too long to get to the point. They probably going to tell me I'm taking too long to get to the point when this video ends and they go back and watch the replay, because I'm introducing myself and I'm having a really casual conversation with you guys. And they're going to be like, girl, you were taking too long to get to the point. But guess what? You can always fast forward. Okay? So those videos are there for you guys as well. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Dakota. Good morning, everybody. If you're popping in right now and if you are a new follower, please let me know in the comments so I can shout you out. Now, what are we doing today? This is my first live video of the year. We are going to be talking about, for the next probably maybe the rest of this month, going into February, I gotta see how much this, I'm gonna break this 100 questions down. So I'm gonna be doing 100 questions and answers about HIV and AIDS, okay? As I go through these questions and I answer them, I want you guys to also ask questions. If a question comes up and you want clarification, you hear me use a word or a term that you're not really familiar with, hey, what does that really mean? Ask me, feel free. Hey, Tracy. Yeah, just do that. Hey, Veronica, good morning. So today we're only going to do questions 1 through 14. They're not, like, it's not all that extraneous. I don't want you guys to feel like, oh my gosh, she's going to go through the none. It's not, okay? It's not all that. It's, and it's really things that honestly a lot of you should already know. If you don't know it, listen, no judgment, none whatsoever, okay? No judgment if it's something you don't know, but y'all know I'm blind as a bat too, a little bit, so hello. Let me get my little old lady glasses on out of here. So when you see me doing like this, that's because I'm trying to read y'all comments, because no, actually I could see them with my glasses on. Okay. I got the red ones on today. I got 2 pair. I got red and blue. We're going to put the red ones on today. Okay. And yeah, these actually help too, because they have that blue light thing. Actually, them the ones I really probably need to have on. Hold on. Because I don't think these new ones have that blue light tint. Wait. Where's my other ones? I need the other ones because I'm looking at the phone, so I do need my other glasses. because they're more for the blue light. These are not. These are just if I'm reading a book or something. Then I could pull those out. They readily available. But these right here got that blue. See, you can see it too when the light hit it, the blue light tint. So these the ones I need right here. But I'm going to have to clean them because I could tell. So, yeah. Good morning. Hey, Melissa. Hey, hey. Hey, Tawana. Y'all, let me tell you about Tawana. And I hope she don't mind me sharing this. Tawana was one of my first friends when I lived in South Carolina. Tawana is somebody who I cherish, okay? I haven't seen Tawana in a while. We actually haven't even really talked on the phone in a while. We talk here and there here on Facebook. And I think she did send me her number and I still ain't called, so don't hold me to that, okay? Tawana was someone who actually worked with my ex-husband. She worked with him. She noticed a lot of things that a lot of other people didn't notice as well. You know, things, you know, she noticed a lot of stuff. But, you know, she's the type of person, like, you know, if she's your friend, she's your friend. And so, like, she took me to my first stripper show, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. And it's funny because me and Keith are still friends to this day. She took me to my first show to see some male strippers. And me and the one male stripper, we still friends to this day. Me and Tawana still friends. Listen, let me tell you, I love having friends for life, okay? Sometimes you meet people, they come and go, but sometimes you have people that stay in your life. And she's one of those people. There's a lot of things in my story that I had Tawana not called me and said, hey, girl, this is what's going on. I would have never known because when I left South Carolina, I left and I didn't really pay attention to a whole lot. And she was the one that called me and was like, girl, you know about this? And I was like, know about what? You know about this little baby? I was like, what little baby? Like, she was that person. She was like, look, I'm your friend, and if I see something that ain't right, I'm going to let you know. And she picked that phone up and she called me. You know, when I told Tawana that I had talked to a man on the phone that said he had been with my ex-husband, she was like, girl, listen, you know, he do be walking around a little funny. You know, she was that friend. She was like, look, I'm just gonna be straight. Like he was just to walk around a little funny, you know. But hey, I just thought that maybe that was just him being a little, you know, he do smack his lips a little bit, certain little things. But no, Tawana is amazing. I love you, Tawana. You know, she helped me a lot. She really helped me a lot. Not just through that situation, but just even moments after that. And sometimes I can remember if I was feeling a certain kind of way, I just need somebody to talk to. I knew I could pick up the phone. I could call her. And it was no judgment. It was none of that. She absolutely cared. Still cares. Okay? So yeah, I just want to shout you out. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, it's so good to have friends like that. For real. All right. Look. And now we both done got old. You see all this gray hair? Remember when I had no gray hair, girl? And let me tell y'all, Tawana is older than me. And she looked like she still look younger. She look younger than me, okay? She still don't look like she nobody grandma. Okay? All right, let's jump into this, okay? Let's jump right into it. So, again, we're doing the first 14 questions of our 100 questions about HIV and AIDS. There are going to be moments that I'm going to have to stop because everybody been asleep all morning. Michelle ain't woke up and got breakfast yet. So when she wake up, y'all already know what's going to happen. The Hurricane Michelle is going to come through. Okay? Hurricane Michelle is going to pop through the house. So just know that. All right. So the first question is, what's my prognosis? So when we're saying prognosis, we're talking about basically a prognosis is what a doctor or you know, expert is telling you about an illness. Basically, that is what a prognosis is. And HIV does not mean a progressive fatal illness. It doesn't. A lot of people assume that when you get HIV, because of the miseducation, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, this is a death sentence. Maybe that was the truth in the late 70s, early 80s, even going into the early 90s. Okay, that could have been a true statement that, yeah, maybe if you got this, it could have been a death sentence, depending on a lot of different factors. However, right now in 2025, HIV is not a death sentence. Hey, Omar, if you contract the virus, you are going to be fine. If you get the right treatment, manage it, go to your doctor, do all these things that you need to do. A diagnosis is not going to be the end for you, okay? There aren't any perfect examples that I can give you or anything. But the biggest thing is to understand that as long as you stay in care, you stay in, doing what you need to do, and have your treatment, your life is going to be pretty easy. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to contract. You're not going to give the virus or expose anyone else to the virus. People assume that everybody who's HIV positive can give this virus to someone else, and that is absolutely not true. The people who actually are giving this virus to other people are people who are not doing any of those things I said. They're not going to the doctor. They're not taking their medication. They're absolutely not in care, okay? So that's something very important. Now, what is the medication that is used for making sure that the virus can't be passed on? Those are your ARTs, your antiretroviral medications. These are medications that stop the virus from replicating or making copies of itself in the body, okay? When you hear, sometimes you might hear people use the term therapy meds or things like that. You might hear that term. A lot of older doctors or a lot of older people that have been in the field for a while, sometimes they'll say your art therapy or things like that. So you might hear that. So this is basically a combination of medications. Now, back in the day, you used to hear people saying, oh, yeah, I took about 18 pills. They used to call that cocktails. Right now, there's even now to the point where we don't even need a pill. You can go and get a shot every other month. And that shot does exactly what it's supposed to do in fighting the virus, just as if you were taking a pill every single day. I currently am on the shot. And after I go this month for my shot, I'll start going every other month. So I'll go January, then I'll go March, then I'll go May. I'll start going every other month for my shots, because the shots for me are working to the point where I don't have to go every month. The doctor wanted to start me every month just to make sure my body was going to react good. Everything was going to go good. We good. It's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm remaining undetectable. I'm healthy. And that sort of thing, okay? What happens when you're taking the ART or the antiretroviral medications is that it's basically protecting your immune system. It's keeping the virus so low that you're able to keep all of your T helper cells. Those T helper cells are the ones that help you fight off infection, okay? So as long as you're taking those ART medications, the virus is not making copies of itself. You're not being put at risk for any infections or anything that typically when you're not on medications can affect you, okay? Taking these medications honestly has changed the outlook of a lot of people who are HIV positive. Because again, originally people were under the impression, oh, I got to take all these medicines. And yeah, early on, a lot of these medications they learned did make a lot of people more sick. It did cause more harm than good. You did have some medications that would cause kidney issues, that would cause liver issues. But as time and as more and more scientific advances have come around, it is now becoming a thing where the benefits of taking the medication are actually working. A lot of less side effects are happening. Are they still having side effects? Yes, some people do still have these side effects. However, it's not like it was early on. Thank you for the stars. I saw someone send a star. Thank you. And yeah, if you want to send stars, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate stars. All right, now let's see. And the other thing about art, if you start taking it early on, then that also can actually help with everything else. Because see, here's the thing. Say you go out, you have unprotected sex. You don't think about going to get tested. So maybe you did contract the STD and you just don't know it. The longer that STD is in your body untreated, the more harm you're doing to your body. So say you go and have unprotected sex and you go to the doctor and say, listen, I have unprotected sex, I need to get tested. Whatever they're able, sorry y'all, yarning. Whatever they're able to test you for, then they will test you for. More than likely, based on the date that you last had unprotected sex, they're not going to do the HIV test. They're going to tell you to come back in 8 to 12 weeks, and then they'll test you for HIV. Why is this? Because there's a window period that they're not going to want to test you in. So they're going to have you come back for that testing. But again, the sooner that you get the testing done, the better, because you don't want to go and allow your body to have this virus or have any STD longer than you need it to be untreated, okay? Now, that's all question number 1 that I'm giving you some things to. Question number 2, again, we're going to do 14 questions. Question number 2 says, can I live a normal life? What about sex and relationships? Baby, listen, to the window and to the wall, okay? You can have a regular relationship. You can have sex. You can live a normal life. There is nothing that is stopping anybody who's HIV positive from living their best life, okay? There's nothing that says you can't have sex while you're HIV positive. It's just that when you're HIV positive, you want to take extra care of yourself and your partner. You want to make sure, as the person who's HIV positive, that you're taking your medication so that your partner doesn't contract the virus. But you also want to make sure you're getting your partner tested, because what if the person that, even though you know what you have, you want to know and make sure that they don't have something that could potentially harm you. You can, because you're HIV positive, that can leave you open to contracting other STDs. There are a lot of people who have what we call co-infections, where you have more than one STD. And a lot of times that's because one of these other STDs can leave you open to contracting HIV. HIV can also make it where it's easier for you to contract other STDs. So it's important to just make sure that you are doing what you need to do, okay? Most people right now take one pill once a day. Some of them go to the doctor every 6 months. Once you're undetectable and your doctor sees you're undetectable, yes, they're taking their medicine. Sometimes people only see their doctor every 6 months. Okay? That's a huge thing. That's like almost living a normal life. Most people typically don't go to their doctor but maybe once a year for their yearly physical, right? So once you get into a regimen of being a person who's taking your medicine, doing what you're supposed to do, guess what? You might only have to see your doctor once, maybe twice a year, unless you get a cold or different little things that can happen. Now, just because you're taking these ART medicines and you're healthy doesn't mean you still can't get a common cold or the flu or any of these other common things. You can still get these things. It's just that you won't experience it on a level that you would if you weren't taking the medications. Okay? The biggest adjustment that people who are HIV positive have to deal with is relationships. Why is that? Because when you are putting yourself in a relationship with someone, the biggest thing that you have to do is you have to disclose your status. You have to. You have to disclose your status, because if you don't, depending on the state that you live in, there can be consequences. Now, their laws have been changing. California is now, and a couple other states, where if you are HIV positive and can show that you're undetectable, you don't have to disclose your status to anyone. You don't have to tell anybody, not even someone you're having sex with, that you're HIV positive. Okay? But remember, that's California and a couple other states. That's not everywhere. So you want to know your state laws. You want to know what you're dealing with as someone who's HIV positive, where you live. Okay? And that's an easy search. You can go in, you can literally simply go and Google, what are the HIV statutes in Georgia, in Florida, in whatever state you're in. Just go and Google that simply, and you'll find those statutes, and you'll be able to read them, to know exactly what you're dealing with. What somebody said, Shaylin said, I don't even have sex. I trust no one. I get tested every October. I'm good. No sex for me. Shaylin, listen, let me tell you something. I would love to sit here and tell you that that is wonderful. I would love to tell you that. It's halfway wonderful, okay? It's halfway wonderful because I commend you for going and getting tested. But baby girl, if you don't go get you some, go get you some. What are you doing? What is you doing? This is what I do. So I don't want people to be afraid to have sex. Sex is enjoyable. Sex is fun. Sex is sex. Do not be afraid to go and have sex. That is why you do these things I'm telling you to do. You get yourself tested. You get your partner tested. You know what you both have. It should not be a thing of, oh, I'm afraid to have sex because I don't want to catch nothing. If you take the steps to make sure you and your partner are good, you won't get an STD. You won't. Because you're missing out on some good, okay? I'm just telling you. Stop leaving some good sex on the table, okay? You know how they say don't leave no money on the table, girl? Don't leave no good on the table or the bed or the sofa or the floor. Hell, wherever it's good at, don't leave it there, okay? All right. But yeah, so when it comes to dating and relationships, disclosure is definitely one of those things that people fear because they fear the rejection. They end up experiencing a loss of confidence. Okay. I've encountered a lot of people. I personally myself have encountered moments of having to deal with disclosure. Yeah. If I meet someone who doesn't know me from social media, who don't know me from nothing, and they approach me and they're like, I want to have, can I have your phone number? My immediate reaction a lot of times is to just say, no, I'm good, or I'm okay. Like I was out literally last week. What was this, around right after Christmas? Me and my mom was out, and this guy came up to me and he was like, how you doing? My name is such and such. What's your name? Like, he's so polite. He cute, all this stuff. And he came up to me and he was like, well, do you mind if I get your phone number? And he was like, do you live here? And initially I wanted to be like, yeah, I'm new here, da-da-da. And I was like, no, I'm not from here. I'm from Jacksonville, knowing good and well I done moved to the city. He was like, oh, man. He was like, well, I could be a reason that you come visit. Da-da. I'm like, oh, Lord. But honestly, I was just in a mindset where I was like, you know what? I really didn't feel like disclosing. I didn't. I'm 17 years in, and at 17 years of being diagnosed, didn't feel like going through the process of disclosing, meeting someone new, learning somebody new, and possibly being rejected. Okay? It happens to everybody. Doesn't happen just because you are newly diagnosed. It doesn't happen. It can happen to anybody that you have those feelings, okay? You be educating your 4 boys. Hey, Shay or Shy. Which one is it? Shay or Shy? But yeah, so that is something. But that doesn't mean you can't have a regular relationship. You can't do certain things. I personally have dated men who are negative. They are negative. They still negative. And they didn't have a problem dating me. They didn't have a problem with people knowing they were dating me. Different things like that. So there's nothing that says you can't be HIV positive and have a regular relationship or normal life, you know, or any of that. Or have sex. Okay? Jennifer says, I have a question. If sex is not critical, why does it turn into AIDS? Okay, so Jennifer, so HIV, and I'm actually going to be talking about it too, I believe, in these first 14 questions. But I can just give you a really quick why HIV turns into AIDS. Pretty much HIV turns into AIDS when someone doesn't take their medication. So these ART medicines that I'm talking about, the antiretroviral medicines, when someone doesn't take those as they're supposed to, that is how the virus turns into AIDS. The more of the HIV virus you have in your body, the less of an immune system you have. You know, those cells that they, you know, what they call it, your it's typically called your T helper cells, but some people know it as your immune system, basically. When you have less of an immune system, that is when you are opening up your body to dealing with all these other things. So what I need people to understand, and I'm going to break down the difference between HIV and AIDS as well. AIDS is not any one thing. AIDS is not its own separate virus. It's not anything like that. AIDS is actually an array of things. It's multiple things that can happen. All AIDS means is a syndrome. That's what that S in AIDS stands for, syndrome. And a syndrome can be anything. It can be any one of the opportunistic infections. Those are infections that happen when your immune system is not there. Okay? If you so let me see if I can really like break it down for somebody who's maybe listening like, okay, you saying all this, but still, what the hell that mean? Let's look at this from a cancer standpoint. Most of us probably knows, if not one or more people who have had a cancer diagnosis, okay? One of the biggest things they tell you about someone with cancer is what? They'll tell you, if you're around someone with cancer, don't be sick. You cannot be around someone who has cancer sick. Why? Because their immune system is weak. Why is their immune system weak? Because they don't have the healthy cells that they need to keep them from getting sick because of the cancer, because of the chemo, the radiation. So in a way, if you look at HIV, look at a person with HIV. The HIV virus is almost correlated with, say, someone who's getting, say, chemo and radiation. Let's correlate it that way. So you can look at HIV and say, you know what, HIV is like the chemo and the radiation and these different things. If someone is not taking care of the cancer, if you're not taking care of the cancer, what happens? The cancer spreads and the cancer get worse and worse, correct? And what happens? The person that has cancer, they can get sick. Same thing with HIV. If you don't take care of that HIV with those medicines, then the person is going to get sick. The HIV basically is taking over. And that leaves them open to get sick. They can have skin cancer. They can have pneumonia. They can have there's a whole list of different things that can happen. Same with a person with cancer. I don't like to really associate HIV with cancer, but the reality of it is, honestly, a lot of the medications that people take to fight the HIV virus, guess what? A lot of those same medications can be used to treat certain cancer diagnoses. Why? Because they all fall into an antiviral medicine. You have antivirals, you have antiretrovirals, you have high antiretrovirals, which they call HAART. You have an array of different things, but all of them really fall in that same category because they all deal with breaking down the immune system. Cancer breaks down the immune system. HIV virus can break down the immune system. That's why it really is a strong correlation between the two. However, a lot of people don't look at it that way, because right now you have more people that actually pass away from cancer than you do the HIV virus. So I kind of want people to look at it in that way. That kind of shows you, okay, why is it that people, deal with X, Y, and Z? Why is it that it goes from HIV to AIDS? Because honestly, if you're just not taking the medicine or going through the treatments that you need to, the virus is going to do what it does. Okay? Now, to finish up with question number 2, just know that it can feel overwhelming to want to have this normal life, to want to live this normal life. But stick with it. Be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. Listen, you don't have there's options for people who are HIV positive when it comes to wanting to have a relationship and wanting to date. There are websites they have for people with STDs that if you want to find someone that is dealing with the same thing you're dealing with, whether it's HSV, which is herpes, whether it is HPV, whether it is HIV, chlamydia, whatever it is that you're dealing with, there are websites that you can go to and meet other people who are just like you. Maybe you don't want to just have to disclose your status to anyone, and you want to just find somebody who understands and is dealing with what they're dealing with. There are websites you can go to, and that will make it easier for you to date. Because now here you meeting someone, you both want to just live this normal life. Yes, we both are HIV positive. We don't really want people to know it, but we want to have love and we want to be together. Guess what? There are many couples who are people who are married, and they both HIV positive, and you'll never know it because they live in their normal best life. You can do it, okay? And that's the end of question 2, okay? Now question 3. Question 3 says, what do I do now? So say you do get this HIV diagnosis. Oh, shoot. What am I going to do? I literally just had someone message me the other day. And they messaged me on TikTok and was like, my doctor... No, they said they went into a hospital. They're in another country. They went into the hospital and got tested. And they told them that they were HIV positive. And they gave them some medication and said, take this once a day, and kind of really didn't do anything else. I said, they didn't tell you to go to an infectious disease physician? They was like, no. I said, okay, well, what kind of medication did they give? They gave them a TCL medication. If you guys know anything about certain medications, the medication that they actually gave them was basically an aspirin. And I was like, why did they give you a aspirin? And then I had to think about it. I said, well, what did you go in there? What was your main complaint when you went into the hospital? Their main complaint was that they were having, I guess, maybe issues where it felt like they were possibly about to have a stroke. I said, oh, well, that makes sense. They gave you the aspirin to take because you were at risk for probably having a stroke, which is typical in a lot of people who are HIV positive, especially younger kids. They, if the virus is left untreated, it can put them at a risk for having a stroke. And so that was the purpose of them giving them that. I say, but you need to go. And I say, well, did they mention anything to you? And then she was like, oh, well, they did tell me that I needed to go and see a private doctor. I said, okay, well, that makes sense. Because she was like, I wanted to get retested, and they told me to go see a private doctor. I said, well, you need to go and see a private doctor. And saying if where you live, if they have clinics that specialize in HIV, you need to go to one of them. Let them retest you and let them go from there. Because a lot of places are, they're not going through these steps. Now, right after a diagnosis, there are some things that you should do sooner than later. So I'm just going to give you a couple of those things that people should be doing. Now, listen, I know most of y'all are not HIV positive, and you're like, man. But why is it important for you guys who are negative to know these things? Because what if you encounter someone someday who feels so much trust that they come to you and they tell you that they're HIV positive and they lost and they don't know what to do? Guess what? Lady Bird is sitting here right now showing you things that you can do as somebody who is negative to help another person. Simple. Simple as that. There's never a reason that you can't have, there's no such thing as too much information or education. Okay? So a couple of the things. The person wants to make sure that they're notifying anybody they've had sex with, so that they can go and get tested. And anybody, I would say, within the last year. Maybe 2 years, depending on the situation. You want to make sure that they find, or you find an experienced HIV care provider. Okay? And we actually going to dive into that a little more when we get into question 18. You want to make sure you get lab tests done. The most important 2 tests that you want to look at when you're getting lab tests done after you've gotten a diagnosis is you want to look at your CD4 count. Your CD4 count, that's your T helper cells. Those are those cells that are helping you fight off infection. You want a lot of those, okay? You want a lot of those. So you want to always know that you got a lot of CD4 and a little bit of viral load. Viral load is the other thing that you want to look for. Viral load is basically the plasma version of the HIV. So you know when you look at blood, they always separate the blood from the plasma and all that. So the plasma of the HIV is what they look at when they're counting the viral load. And the resistance test. The resistance test is very important because the resistance test is going to tell the doctor what medicines that you can and can't take. Because there are going to be some medicines that possibly won't work for your DNA genetic makeup. Honestly, that's basically what it boils down to. And then say they do introduce you to a medicine that works. Say they give you a medicine, this medicine works, but you just don't like taking medicine and you stop taking it the way you need to. Guess what? And now, because you stopped taking it and then say you feel like, oh, well, I guess I'll try it again. What happens? Now, when you try it again, the medicine not working because you've built that resistance up to it. Your body has put a wall up and said, you know what? You stopped taking me, so now I don't want you no more. All right? Hey, Nelly says, I have a family who had issues with accepting her diagnosis 8 years now, and all of your videos have been so helpful for me because that's how I continue to educate her. Oh, wow. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Richard. All right. So another thing you want to do is what we're doing right now. You want to educate yourself, read, listen to me, other advocates, people who have either dealt with this, dealing with this, have information, books. Listen, I can't tell you enough how I go in bookstores and I specifically look for books about HIV and AIDS. I go in the library. There's some libraries you can go to where they do, like, where they're purging out their books. So they have a lot of books that they try to just sell. And you can buy, like, I know when I used to go to this one bookstore, they did like a brown bag sale where you could get 2 big brown bags of books for like $15. How many books you can fit in that bag? $15. And so I used to go and I used to just go and look through all the health books and find books and different books. That's how I was able to build up my book catalog with a lot of older books and newer books too. Okay, so everything is free. Like, it's online right here on free. We get on Facebook, TikTok. We do all these other things. You can get on the internet and you can research a lot of this information for free. There's movies that you can watch. And the band played on. You can watch, what's the other movie that I really love? I can't think of the name of it right now. But it talks about the other movie I'm talking about. It talks about the quilts, the HIV quilts that they usually put out on the lawn in front of the White House every year. Yeah, it talks about that. I actually have that on like a VHS tape. But yeah, there's so many different things that you can do to learn about this virus. You want to think about money. I know that sounds crazy. Like, why am I thinking about money? Because listen, depending on your financial situation, you may or may not have to pay for your antiretroviral medicines. If you're on a lower income, then you may be able to get your medications free. You may qualify for Ryan White or ADAP, one of the programs that assist you with medication, assist you with doctor visits and things like that. Now, if your income is a little more, a lot of times your private insurance, say if you have Blue Cross, Aetna, Humana, different, mainstream insurance companies, they do cover a lot of these things, but of course, that comes with co-pays, and that can come with certain situations where maybe they might not cover certain things you might need done. You might have to pay a copay for your medicine. I know when I was first diagnosed, we had whatever insurance they had at with Blue BMW at the time. I forgot what it was, and I think it was Signia. My copay for my medicines were like $60. So it really just depends on, it depends on your financial situation. You have, so again, how are you going to pay for care? Do you have insurance? What does it cover? Do you qualify for benefits? If you're not sure, you can talk to a social worker or a case manager, and they can give you these answers. All right. And you want to get support. You want to seek out people who you can talk to about HIV. That is when the support system comes in. Those trusted people. Like, for example, who was that just said? So like Nellie. Nellie is a support system for her relative who is positive. She's a support system. I'm a support system. Other people are support systems when you can just go to them and talk to them, and there's no judgment. There's no funny looks. There's no frowns and all these different things. Somebody that's just really going to allow you to come to them and you listen, and they, you're able to pour your heart out to them. Okay? Now, the next question number 4. And look, Joseph said, I am my family member support system, and I love you for that. Oh, wait, I said Joseph. Special V Joseph. Let me make sure I say it right, because I don't want to assume that one. Sometimes y'all be flipping y'all names, but that picture looks like that is a beautiful young woman. So I want to make sure I don't call her Joseph, okay? All right, so question number 4 says, who do I tell? Okay? Telling somebody that you are HIV positive is one of the biggest steps. Okay? It's not an easy step. It's not. Especially when it's new to you. When it's new to you, it's not an easy step. Oh, look, and Special V Joseph has a 3-year badge. My bad for ignoring that 3-year badge. Hello, my 3-year follower. But one thing I want people to understand, that there is no rush in telling people your status. You tell people your HIV status on your own time. Never feel pressured, never feel pushed, none of that. What do you mean, what about CD4, Richard? Because I did mention a little something about CD4 a minute ago. And we're going through questions. So if you're coming in right now, let me reiterate what we're doing. So what we're doing right now is this is question 1 through 14 or 14 questions, 100 questions about HIV and AIDS. Okay, we're starting with questions 1 through 14 today. Next live I do next week, we'll do questions 15 through wherever I decide I want to stop. I'm going through these questions and answering them. Now, as we go through these questions, if you have questions that pertain to what we're talking about, I will answer them. If it's a question that you ask that I feel like is going to be more detailed further along, then I'll say, hey, look, we're going to get to that. Let's wait. So let me know specifically what you're wanting to know about CD4, and if it can wait, then we'll let it wait, because I'm actually going to get more in depth with CD4. So there you have it. Okay. Now, who do I tell is question number 4, or who should I tell? It's important to tell sex partners. Like, I feel like that's the most important part. You know, people feel like, oh, if I tell this person I'm HIV positive, they're not going to want to have sex with me. Listen, that's fine. If you disclose your status to someone and they say, well, you know, that's something I don't want to deal with, guess what? Yes, it's going to make you feel some kind of way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not. You're going to feel some kind of way. You're going to feel down. You're going to lose a little confidence. But guess what? They're not the only person in the world, okay? You know, it's important to tell them because it could very well, if you go and find out you're HIV positive and the person you're having sex with, they could have been the person who gave it to you. Now, it could have been somebody else, but, you know, it could also be that person. And then they need to find out so that they can go and get tested. They need to go and get tested. I personally feel like you should think about telling a family or a close friend, because family and close friends are the ones who know you better than anybody else. They know you better than a ladybird. They know you better than a counselor. They know you better than that infectious disease physician. They know you on a more personal level. So I feel like those are the people that you really need to reach out to. The first person that I told my status to was my mom. My mom was the first person. My oldest daughter's godmom was the second person. And then Raheem Devon. I don't know if y'all know who Raheem Devon is. Me and him have been friends for most of my diagnosis. Me and Raheem at the time, I was a fan of Raheem Devon. We were trying to figure out how to get his music pushed more out into the world. So he had a lot of fans that were close to him that lived in different states. So we would do different things. Like I lived in Florida, so I was the one that was in Florida pushing it out. I had a whole Florida Facebook page for Raheem Devon, y'all. Listen. Not Facebook, MySpace page, y'all. It was a lot. We had people in all different states. And he was one of the first people that I told my status to. One of the radio DJs in Jacksonville, T-Roy, he was another one of the first 5 people that knew my status. These are people who I cherish, people who were close to me, and people who actually have been in my life this whole time and have been that support system. Had it not been for them, I probably would have went through way worse things that I have been through with my diagnosis. So you got to find a support system. You got to find those people who you can go to and know that they're going to allow you to lean on their shoulder. Okay. If you're not comfortable telling family or friends, then you can look elsewhere. You can look at support groups, counselors, peer advocates. So I would be someone you would consider as like a peer advocate, therapists in the community. You know, most people that have this as a profession, whether they're a therapist or a counselor, they're bound by HIPAA. So they can't go and tell your personal business. So you know that at least you're protected if you go and talk to someone in a professional capacity about your situation. They're not going to be out here telling anybody else. So that's something that's important to know. You don't. Now here's another thing I need people to understand too. You do not have to tell your boss, your coworkers. You ain't got to tell the plumber, somebody sitting next to you on a bus, the pastor. You ain't got to tell nobody. You only need to tell the people that matter, which are you, yourself, whoever you're sleeping with, and your doctors. Why do your doctors need to know? Because say a situation arises and something is different than your norm, and the doctor's going to need to know, okay, listen, I've been seeing you all these years. Something has changed. Something is different. Why is this now looking like this? Well, I'm HIV positive now. Then your doctor would know better how to treat you now with this new diagnosis. So doctors, whoever you're having sex with, That's it. And if you're seeing a counselor or somebody in that capacity, that's it. Now, the question number 5 is another important question, because a lot of people assume a lot of stuff with this question. So I want to make sure you guys listen to this. And this is a good question for everybody to know the answer to, because I see so much information about this that it irritates me to my core, okay? This question number 5 says, should I keep working? Should I keep working? Yes. Why? Why are you going to stop working? Most people who are HIV positive work regular jobs. Now, I understand that if you get sick and you're not able to work, certain situations do happen. A lot of people do find out their status and they are already in the AIDS diagnosis. That's a whole different story, okay? But you're someone, say you're like someone like me, you get the diagnosis, you have a job. Do you stop working? You know, sorry, y'all. Woo, yarning. Do you stop working? No, you don't stop working. You continue to work. The biggest misconception about being diagnosed as HIV positive is that, oh, I got HIV now. They going to give me SSI. No, the hell they ain't. They ain't going to give you nothing. They're not giving you SSI. You think just because now you got HIV, you finna get SSI? No, you're not. They're not giving it to you. No. Now, if you feel like there are situations that are happening that you are unable to work, that's a different story. But they are going to put you through it. They're going to put you through these tests. They're going to put you through these doctors. They're going to put you through all this stuff. And if them people say there ain't nothing wrong with you, and I don't see why they can't go and work, you going to work. Now, there are certain situations where, say, a person is working and maybe they find out, so that initial diagnosis puts them in depression, puts them in a certain mental space. You know, you can look at things like FMLA, where you take a family leave, stuff like that, which a lot of times that's helping you and protecting you from losing your job in the event you need to take a step away from work. So, yeah. But don't just automatically assume because, oh, you get HIV, you gonna get SSI. Nah, it ain't gonna work like that. I don't have it, but you are speaking great knowledge to be aware. Hey, Tranisha, thank you so much. Thank you. Look, what you say, Special said, true, don't know why people think that. I don't know either. People be like, girl, I know you over here getting SSI. Shit, I wish. But at this point, if I was to get SSI, I wouldn't be getting that much. If they gave me SSI right now, I wouldn't get a whole lot, because the twins are both disabled. They get SSI. So guess what? Once you add another person in the household getting SSI, they probably not going to even get my twins don't even get the full amount of SSI, because I do have income that I generate. So guess what? My household still does not get the full SSI benefits. And that just is what it is. I did get an increase this year. Hello. Look, the twins got a little increase, but you know, hey, I think they gave everybody a little increase this year. Was the guy gay who you contracted it from? All right, so Tranisha, I don't know if I would say gay, maybe bisexual, if that would be the right term. Bisexual. Now, was it known beforehand that he was bisexual? Absolutely not. I assume this was a very straight heterosexual man. But through my investigations and through everything that unfolded, you know, when the dark came to light, it was known and found out that, yeah, he was with men and women. So, yeah. All right. Now, question number 6. Question number 6 says, but I don't know. Should I get tested? All right. This is actually the easiest question out of all these 100 questions that we're going to go through. This is the easiest question. Because, yes, how else are you going to know what's going on with your body if you don't go and get tested? You got to go and get tested so you know what's going on with your body. Thank you, Elijah. Hey. You know, hold on, I'm trying. So I see somebody attempted to answer the question. I'm sorry, Lisa Gale, but you were not correct. He was actually, he wasn't gay. He was bisexual, but so he was sleeping with men and women. Yeah. Tranisha say, see, them the ones where I be scared. Girl, listen. That's why I'm like, listen, if I meet a guy, like, listen, if you bisexual, just tell me up front, whatever. Like, I'd rather be able to be presented with what you dealing with ahead of time and make the choice on my own than you to just not say nothing and then now I'm put in a situation, you know. Yeah, Thelma, they know they be wrong, child. They be like, oh, well, you getting this? So you know, girl. See, and that's the thing. This is the crazy part. And just going back to SSI real quick. Thelma, this is the crazy part. When you get an SSI or disability, when you get a disability or other little things, it's never enough to cover all your expenses. So it's like, do they expect you to not have other income? It's never enough to cover everything. Like the amount of SSI they give one person is never enough to cover rent, light and water, gas if you have gas, food expenses. It's never enough to cover all that. So I don't understand how they expect people to live and take care of themselves being disabled on income that not gonna cover it all. I'm like, how does the cost of living increase but the amount that you give people for disability doesn't? Most people who get disability can't work. They're disabled. They can't work. So now, because they can't work, they're getting disability. They're forced to live below the poverty level line. They're forced to live in these areas that are rat and roach infested, that are not necessarily in the hood, but not a good situation either. Might be shooting every day, might be this and this every day. They got to take a bus just to get to the closest major store to get them some real good groceries instead of going into Dollar General and Family Dollar getting the half expired stuff. Like, it's a whole lot that goes in. Like, listen, I could go down a whole rabbit hole of that, but we're gonna talk about that another time. But I feel you, Thelma. All right, so listen. Question number 6, but I don't know. Should I get tested? Absolutely. You go and get tested because that's the only way you're going to know. Again, like I said before, when you don't know what's going on with your body, you don't know that you need to be seeing a doctor. You don't know. The only way to know is to get tested. To know your status, know your partner status, all that stuff. People often get afraid to go and get tested because they might have they feel like they might have HIV. Or been exposed to it at some point. Or any other STD. Listen, look. Most people have positive test results within 8 to 12 weeks, okay? And between 97% and 99% are positive at that 3-month mark, okay? And they have some newer tests too. They have that, like, what is it, a 4th generation HIV test. And that one actually looks at the antigen and the antibody. So it actually can detect the HIV virus a lot sooner than some of the older tests. Okay? Yeah, always get tested. Always get tested. If you are sexually active, and especially if you are having unprotected sex, it makes more sense to go and get tested. It does. What are you waiting on? Why are you not in there? Every time you have a new sexual partner, you should be getting yourself and that person tested before you guys have sex. before you have sex with a new person, you both should be getting tested. So there's no question of what either one of you have before you have sex, whether it's protected or unprotected. Oh, you say, am I mad that I got it? I'm not going to necessarily say I'm mad. I'm more so disappointed. I mean, I have disappointment in myself. Even though I feel like I did everything that I was supposed to do as far as getting tested before. Like, I did a lot of things that I'm telling you guys to do. I did. My situation was more so, it involved a lot of lying and deceit on his part. Of how I didn't know. But, I think I do know, you know, as years go by, I think about it more and more. There are a lot of red flags I probably should have paid attention to a lot more, but hell, I was 24 years old. You know, I was pretty young still, and still, you know, trying to navigate life. I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted to, you know, I didn't, honestly, listen, I grew up around, and most of us, this is not just me, most of us grew up around people who've been married since they were like young. My parents been married since 1974. They just, they graduated in high school in 72, and 74 they were married. They just had 50 years of their wedding anniversary. So I knew that if I ever wanted to see a 50-year wedding anniversary, I knew I didn't want to be married, you know, in my 30s. I want to get married at a younger age because I want to experience a lifelong marriage with a partner. You know what I'm saying? I want to experience this. This is what I grew up around. I grew up in church, so I grew up seeing all of these husbands and wives who had been married for so long. My grandparents being married so long. You know, certain people in my family, my great aunts and uncles and different things like that. Seeing the union of a man and a woman and seeing how I wanted that. And I didn't want it at an older age. I wanted to start it young so that I can get, you know, I can't wait to get to my 50th wedding anniversary. Like, that is what I felt at 24 years old. So a lot of my judgment was clouded by the fact that I'm looking at these things and life goals. You know, sometimes it's good to put goals into place, but sometimes those goals can cloud your judgment too, because you're so focused. You have blinders up of everything else because you're so focused on the end goal, you know. And so, I think that happened to me a lot during this situation. I had those blinders up because I was looking at what I thought I wanted for my future and for my life. And it happened. So I won't say I was necessarily mad, just a little disappointed in myself that I could have done a lot of things completely different. So, but yeah, again, if you've been sexually active, you have unprotected sex, go get tested every 6 to 12 months. And again, every time you have a new partner, go and get that person tested. You both go and get tested all over again. All right. So everyone should have been tested at least once. Tranisha said, what's your zodiac sign? Hell, listen, let me tell you something. I'm a Taurus, okay? I despise male. I have never had a problem with a female Sagittarius. But men Sagittarius, listen, with a passion, I can't stand them. I can't stand them with a passion. Male Sagittarius men, whoo, honey. Nope, can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But no, I'm a Taurus. Don't worry, you'll see the Taurus a little more as time goes on. You know, you'll see. You'll be like, oh, yeah, she a Taurus. All right, I had to send my mama to the voicemail because I'm on live, girl. I'm on live, girl. I should have called them and told them I was on live before I got on live. I did date another. I have dated other Taurus men. And actually, I dated, I think, 2 other April Tars, May Tars. I get along with May Tars up until a certain point. Then it's like, yeah, you get on my nerves. Then it's like, yeah, you get on my nerves. I can't do it. All right, so everybody should be tested at least once, okay? There are certain conditions for which testing is especially recommended. Let me tell you. So people who have had sexually transmitted infections or STIs, people who have had hepatitis B, hepatitis C, tuberculosis, TB, shingles, or problems that can be caused by HIV, such as weight loss or chronic diarrhea. You definitely need to be tested. So yeah. And they should be tested, and HIV testing should be performed in anyone with lymphoma or unexplained low platelet counts, anemia, so low blood cell, or leukopenia, which is a low white blood cell count. All pregnant women should be tested because treatment prevents transmission to the infant. Now, this is something that is going to happen, okay? You are going to get tested when you get pregnant. It's going to be a part of your prenatal labs, whether you consent to it or not, okay? Okay? Yeah. All right. Now, we are finna start going into the basics of HIV. We're going to be talking about what's the difference between HIV and AIDS, how is HIV spread, and how can we prevent HIV, and what is PrEP, and a little more, okay? All right, so y'all ready? Let me see. Any questions before we move forward? Anything you guys want to know about what we discussed so far before I move forward into question number 7? We only got 7 more questions for today, and then we'll pick up with question 15 next Friday. I don't think I got an appointment next Friday. I'm trying to do them every Friday, but sometimes it might get switched around if I have appointments that correlate or intervene. Yeah, next Friday, same time. All right, so if nobody has questions, I'm yawning. Sorry. All right, so hello, and welcome to everybody that's popping in right now. If you've sent stars, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. All right. No questions? Cool. Anybody enjoying what they're learning so far? If you enjoying what you're learning from right now, let me see you put some love in the comments. Let me see some hearts or something. If you are enjoying the content and the information you are getting right now. You got a question, Shakobi? What's your question, Shakobi? Oh, I love the name. I'm gonna just tell you, I love the name Shakobi. I don't know why I love that name. I've seen it spelled so many different ways, and I like that name. All right, go ahead and ask your question. Okay, T. Love you. All right, let me see. Is PrEP good? So Trinisha said, is PrEP good for us that has an HIV phobia and would like to stay negative? All right, so yes. PrEP is for everybody who is negative. Listen, it's for if yes. I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna deep dive into PrEP. We definitely gonna deep dive into PrEP. I think Jacoby wanted to ask a question. If someone is undetectable and you make them get tested, okay, you still typing? Thelma said, tell me why when you ask the guy, has he been tested, and they get mad and he say, have you been tested? And I say, you damn skip it every. Cause I don't know, you hit send too fast. Just type the rest of the question, Shakobi. Thelma got me laughing, boo. Look, Thelma say, why they look, they do that. When you, this is one of the this is a thing of projection. When you ask somebody have they been tested, the first thing they'll say, what you mean have I been tested? Have you been tested? Cause I guess they looking at it like you trying to say they got something. But it's not even that. Like, it's a simple question. Have you been tested? Yes or no? If they give you an issue and they push you around about asking them about them getting tested, then guess what? Walk the heck away. Nope. So they can still give you HIV. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let me go back. Let me piece your question together. If someone is undetectable and you make them get tested, can they still give you HIV? Okay. Hold on. Oh, this y'all came out. Hey, yo, Mika girl. Listen. I'm my age is catching up with me because I be wanting to sleep. Like the old people. Okay, so Shakobi said, what is the point of making someone get tested if they undetectable? You will still not know the truth, possibly right. No, that's not true. All right, Shakobi, listen. That is listen, this is one of those questions and one of those statements that I be fighting people about every day on social media, okay? That is one of the misunderstanding and misconceptions about the HIV virus. And once someone has been diagnosed HIV positive, you will never, listen, let me tell you this. Listen to me when I say this. I don't care who come back and tell you, oh, Lady Bird don't know what she's talking about. Listen, tell them the best of mi culo, okay? And if you know Spanish, you know what I just said. No. There is no way, shape, fashion, or form that somebody is going to be HIV positive. They're going to take a HIV test and it's going to say they're negative because they're undetectable. No, that is not how the HIV virus works. Every test that is for detecting the HIV, whether it's looking for the antibody or the antigen, whether you're undetectable or not, that test is going to tell the doctor that you are still HIV positive. Guess what? I could go right now. I'm undetectable. I can show you my last lab results that say I am undetectable. I could go right now. Matter of fact, do I have a test? I might have one. Hold on. So wait a minute. I might have one. Hold on. Let me take my glasses off because I can't see. I can't walk and chew gum. I might have one. Hold on. From when I went. I might have a test. Hold on. I mean, I know I'm in the dark. That's because my closet is in the bathroom. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Where's my little bag? Oh. Okay. Hold up. Because I think I got a test in here. Let me see. Because if I got one in here, you know what we finna do. You know what we finna do. Wait a minute. I got a test in here, baby. I got a test in here. How many in here? I got a test. We finna see. I want y'all to see. Now, I'm telling you, my lab say I'm undetectable. Okay? My lab say I'm undetectable. All right. So, y'all know. Look, hold on. Let me put my phone back on this tripod. All right. I have a test right here. This is an instant HIV-1, HIV-2 antibody test intended for single-use determination of HIV or HIV-1 antibodies in whole blood, serum, or plasma. Okay? All right. And they got a whole little setup where you got it. Listen. And I actually watched the man do this. But I'm gonna still have to read the directions because look. And they got the little bottles come labeled with 1, 2, and 3 on it. We finna do this. Because I need y'all to understand. Stop letting these people just tell y'all anything that they want to tell y'all. You go to directions. Let me make sure I know what the hell I'm doing, okay? And I got to put my glasses back on because I can't see these little bit of words. All right. And it's got the little thing for you to prick your finger. Hold on, let me to go to the little finger prickle thing. And it's got the little thing for me to collect the blood. Okay. It would be a little child-proof, child. Okay, I got that open. So that's the little thing for me to stick my finger. Okay, you even got a wipe in here, child. Little finger wipe. That's the little thing to collect the blood. I'm gonna leave that in there. Yeah. To go to test. I got a test right here. And it looks like, this is what the test look like, okay? That's the C. The C is from control, okay? The C is from control. Now, the actual test, so the way this test works is right at the top in this circle where that C is at, inside this circle, that's the dot. But in the very center of it is going to be another dot if the test comes back and says positive. Let me make sure. That's what we got going on. Yep. So it'll be 2 dots in the circle if it's positive, okay? But the first thing I gotta do, and look, and let me see, can I turn it where y'all can see it? I don't know, hold up. I can, but I can't see myself either. All right, so got this here. This is the little thing for me to stick my finger. You know what? I'm gonna use my other little finger thing because I don't like these. These be hurting. Hold on. Them be hurting. Let me go get my other, my one I use for my blood sugar. Let me get the one I use for my blood sugar. Because them things right there be hurting. I ain't no fool now. I ain't finna be just around here hurting myself. And I know what hurt and what don't hurt. I ain't finna be around here just hurting myself with that little thing they be putting in them. Because they be hurting. I use my Lancets that I use for my blood sugar. Okay, and I just put it on 4 so that I get a good poke. All right, let's see. All right, so they give you 3 bottles, okay? 1, 2, 3. 3 bottles. The first bottle, all right, so the first bottle is what I'm going to put the blood in. So this is bottle 1. It's got a little solution inside it, okay? All right, so I got bottle 1 open. And it has a little line on this droplet too. Let me show y'all the little droplet. So it has a little line. It's actually got some little stuff in there too. I don't know if y'all can see that. My hand's ashy, so mind your business. But it has a line, so I gotta get all it up, fill it up to that line. Okay? All right, let's get some blood. Come here, blood. Get my little alcohol wipe, child. I use this finger. This the big juicy finger. The juicy finger. You know, they always want to go to the finger that they say gonna get you more blood. All right, let's see. All right, we got some blood. Let me make sure I get a good amount out of here. All right. All right, now don't be acting like that. Give me some more. Come on, keep bleeding. Keep bleeding. Child, this is hard shit. I had to squeeze a lot out of that. Child, the way y'all got me around here. I might have to squeeze another. I may have to poke another finger. Lord of mercy. Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna have to, hold on. Child, this shit hard. Lord have mercy. Because I got to get it to this line. Hold up. I'm going to have to poke another finger. I'm definitely going to have to poke another finger. Alright, good thing I got more alcohol right here. Because this thing here don't like me. Alright. I'm going to poke another finger. So I can get... Oh, shit. Oh. Alright, let's see. Okay, now it's working. Come on. Come on. I just need a little more. Come on. It's working now, but hell, I clot fast. Come on. There you go. I need some more of that. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we're good now. I think we're good. I thought I had one of them other tests. I guess I didn't. Look, I'm not even going to tell y'all the mess that I made over here. I'm not. Okay. Let me just collect my little mess. Let me just collect my little mess. So I got that in there. So y'all can see it's in there. All right, I gotta shake that. All right, so the first step I gotta do with this is pour it in here. All right, so got that poured in there. It's being absorbed. All right, it's being absorbed. And then the second one, now I gotta put this number 2. This is number 2. All right. Put number 2 in there. Now that's going in. Number 2 is basically like a color developer. That's what this is. It's a color developer. Listen. I'm over here. They got me over here doing a lot. Look, I ain't even finished. Listen, I'm going to just say, I'm not even finished. And it's already showing positive. I'm just going to show y'all before I even put the last thing in there. So, I haven't even put... So, y'all see that? I haven't even put the last drop in there. The last solution. And it's already showing positive. Okay? I just want y'all to see that. Now I'm finna put this one. This is the clarifying solution. So this is just basically taking that blue tint out of it. Okay? That's it. And it's already, so I'm undetectable, okay? You see that? That's a positive HIV test result. 2 dots. 2 dots, that means my test is showing positive. What did this say right here? This says if it's non-reactive, if it's a non-reactive test, it's only going to have that 1 dot. But if it's reactive, it's going to have what? 2 dots. Like that. And if it's an error could look like any one of those. So mine is what? Positive. So that right there in itself should show you guys that even if you're somebody who is HIV positive and you're undetectable, your test results are still going to show that you're positive. Okay? Just want y'all to see that. And I've been undetectable for a long time now. So the test results are still going to show that you are positive. Okay? Okay. All right. Yeah. And again, for those who didn't see it, this was a test I did, and that is a positive result. And I am undetectable. Okay. All right. So there you have it, folks. And if somebody says something to me in the comments, I'm sorry if I missed you typing because I was trying not to make a mess over here. I was over here trying not to make a mess. But I just wanted to show you guys that. All right. All right, let me scroll up real quick because I did see something. I love you too, Shakobi. Did you see it, Shakobi girl? That thing did what? Put them 2 dots up there real quick. Hey, Lutera. All right, so. Da-da-da-da. Hey, Deshonda said, hello. That's where it confuses me, being undetectable versus HIV positive. If you're undetectable and can't pass it on, how will it still show HIV positive? It's hard to understand that if you can't be passed on. But okay, so what happens is, even though I can't give anybody else the HIV virus, the virus itself is still there. The virus is there. It's just that I don't have enough in my body. I don't have enough in my body to give it to anyone else. Okay, you have to have enough of it for it to be able to pass on to someone else. And when you're undetectable, you don't have enough of it that it can go to someone else. All right. Now, I got stuff all on my book. Good. This is the good part about being. Look, where's my other book? Because I got another book too. Hold on. Let me see. Is this chart in here? Because I want to be able to show y'all this chart. All right, so, all right, y'all ready to deep dive into this breakdown? All right, so question number 7. Question number 7 is, what is HIV? HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus, the virus that causes AIDS. All right, which is the acquired not immune, because some people always say acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Okay, the difference between HIV and AIDS is something that we're going to discuss when we get to question number 10. Okay, HIV is passed from person to person through sexual contact, blood to blood contact, childbirth, which we're now learning, of course, now in more present days, that is being able to be eliminated, but it's still a possibility. Childbirth and breastfeeding. It takes time. Let's see. So we're gonna take a minute, and I want to show you guys first. I want to show you what an HIV cell looks like, and we're gonna talk about the life cycle. Okay. So this right here is basically, this is a HIV cell. Okay. This is an HIV cell, and right here, where is it? I'm looking at it backwards. I'm trying to look at my other book. So these right here are the HIV proteins. So the HIV proteins are what goes on to the cell. Okay? So I'm trying to use my backwards. Let me see. I'm looking at everything backwards, y'all. This is crazy. All right, so this is the HIV protein here. Because what happens is you got the this is your regular cell, okay? This is your regular cell. See these little things here? These are the little HIVs. See these the little black parts? Those are your little HIVs, the little HIV cells. This is your T helper cell. This big thing here, that's your T helper cell. This is what helps you fight off infection. So once the HIV virus attaches itself to one of the receptors, these right here, these are your receptors. All these little pieces around it. So what happens is the HIV cell connects. And because there's a certain protein that's on these receptors, it allows the virus to connect to your T helper cell. The HIV virus then goes into the cell and it attaches itself and makes it host. It attaches itself to the host right here. Okay? That's a picture of it. Now let me break this down. Okay? Let me break this down. So I know I want y'all to see it, because sometimes people haven't seen this. A lot of people have never seen this. This is your T helper cell. These darker ones here are the HIV. Inside the HIV, it carries, inside of these, you see those are the viruses. Those are the viruses and the little HIV proteins. And it shows you up here what each one is. You have the HIV glycoprotein. You have the HIV envelope. The envelope is basically that whole dark part. The proteins are these little, these are what connect on to these are what connect on to here. Those are the CD4 intercept. What is that? The CD4 receptor. So that's what it connects on to. So anything that your T helper cell receives connects to that little receptor. Okay. But I wanted you guys to see that because a lot of people have never really seen or paid attention to what it looks like. Okay. And that's just a diagram. There's other depictions of it, but that's the one that we have here. So what happens is you got that T helper cell, you got these little HIV cells. They out here. They was like, oh, look at that. I wanna be like him. I wanna take him over. I wanna invade him. So what it does is it finds one of those receptors and it says, and it just goes on it and gets on it till finally it latches on. Okay, now we in. We there. Now once it latches on to that T helper cell, whatever HIV is in that virus, now it's being transferred into that T helper cell. Now what it does? It makes itself look just like a T helper cell. Because guess what? Now I'm about to go through your body and I'm finna find other T helper cells because I want to share the wealth and the love with those other cells and I want to take them over. That's what the HIV virus does. It goes in your body. It finds those healthy cells, invades them, and uses that invaded cell to find other healthy cells to take over as well. Okay? Now, it goes through a cycle. The cycle that it goes through a binding cycle. So that's step one. That is when it attaches to that HIV receptor. I mean, not the HIV, the CD4 receptor. So once it attaches, it's binding itself to that T helper cell. Fusion is step 2 of what the HIV cycle goes through. Fusion is when the coding of the virus fuses with the CD4 cell. Remember I was showing you? That's step 1. It's going to the receptor right here. Step 2, now that's that right there. And it's going to fuse into the CD4. Step 3 is what it does, something called reverse transcription. This is basically where the HIV enzyme, the protein of the HIV virus merges with your T helper cell. Then it integrates. Now it's a new formed HIV DNA. You know how you always hear people saying, "Oh yeah, everybody has a different HIV strand." Sometimes you hear people say strand, strain, however they say it. That is what that means. Because now my DNA molecule also has that particular HIV virus code added to it now. And then the replication happens in step 5. The replication is basically when it goes and it finds the other cells to invade. Number 6 is assembly. All right, guess what? All right, we got enough of us. Now let's what? We got to get together and we got to fight. So now what happens, all of those invaded cells come together and form a chain. Now they're going around and they're attacking all of those T helper cells that are still left as a group. They're chaining together, and as a group, they're going in, whoop. Kind of like Pac-Man. You know, Pac-Man go through, nom, 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 nom. That's what they're doing. They're chained together, and they're going through, and they're grabbing all of those other good cells that you have left. And then budding. Budding is when that newfound virus has now taken over that T helper cell, guess what? It pushes this. It's like that now that invaded CD4 cell is giving birth to a new HIV virus cell. I know. Y'all like, girl, we ain't finna remember all this. And that's fine, but I still want y'all to know. I still want y'all to know that's what's happening. Okay? I still want y'all to know this is the scientific part of it and what is happening. And this is why it's so important to take the medicine, because what happens is when you don't treat the virus, you don't take the medication, this cycle goes on and on and on and on and on until it takes over your body and eventually it makes you sick. And that is when the AIDS diagnosis comes into play. Okay? All right. Now, one of the questions that I see all the time, this is question number 8 that we're moving on to. This is a question that a lot of people ask. A lot of people have answers to, but a lot of people have the wrong answers, okay? Where did HIV come from? How many of you guys listening right now have heard that question? Put a 1 in the comments. Just put a 1 real quick. If you heard that question, where did HIV come from? Because I know I used to hear that all the time, man. Where did HIV come from? I've heard a lot of people ask that question. And I'd be like, child. Thank you, Tracy. Let's see. Somebody asked the question, and I think I missed it. If it's not enough in the system to pass on, why they can't be an organ donor to a non-HIV patient? It'd be making me think. Okay, so Deshonda, here's why. Okay, and I think I mentioned this. Let me hold on. I gotta get a pen because this gonna be a little mathematical situation. Okay, it's gonna be a little mathematical situation. Hold on, I got you, boo. I got you. Where's my little sticky notepad? Here you go. I got you. All right. Because there is an answer for that. And when I give you this answer, then you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. All right. So I had to get my pen because I got to do some calculations because I want to give you the numbers because the numbers are what are going to make you understand what I mean. Hold on. Let me pull my calculator up on my laptop because, of course, we're on the phone. And I need a calculator, too. All right, so, all right. All right. Hold on, let me look at something else real quick. Because it's what, per, I think it's what, per 100,000? Let me see. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get the right number because I want to make sure my calculations are right. All right, let me see how. All right, so I had to get these numbers because I want to make sure I'm giving y'all the correct information. All right. All right, so HIV is measured in milliliters of blood, okay? So when they are checking to see how much HIV virus is in the body, you're undetectable when you have less than 20 copies per milliliter of blood. So there are about, 1 drop of blood has approximately 30 to 50 microliters in that 1 milliliter, okay? So in 1 drop of blood, let's say 1 drop of blood, we'll just go with the higher end of 50. 50 microliters are in 1 milliliter of blood, okay? So what does that mean? So that means if they say, okay, I have 20 copies, so that's 20. So we know that there are 50 microliters in 1. So if there are 50 microliters in 1 drop of blood, and you have 20 copies, that's what? That's 50 times what? The 20. So that's 1,000, right? That's 1,000. So that means there's actually 1,000 copies in what? But hold on. Yeah, we going deep. We going deep. How many milliliters of blood in the body? All right, here we go. We'll do it that way. So you have anywhere from 4,500 to 5,700 milliliters of blood in the body. Okay? So if they're telling you that there's less than 20 copies in 1 milliliter of blood, what does that tell you? That means, okay, so if my whole body consists of 4,500 to 57, let's go with the lower end. Say we got 4,500 milliliters of blood, and they're telling us that we got 20 copies. 4,500 times 20 copies. That means we have what? 90,000 HIV viruses still in our body. So just because you're undetectable and it's less than 20 copies, doesn't mean that it's only less than 20 copies, period. It just means there are less than 20 copies per milliliter. So if that's per milliliter and you have 4,500 milliliters of blood in your body, that means you still have, at most, about 90,000 HIV viruses still in your body. That's a lot still. So that is one of the reasons why donating blood is still one of those things that, unless you're donating it to another person who's also diagnosed HIV, not blood, donating organs, that is why it's still one of those things that they're looking at like, yeah, we would prefer you to just, another person that's positive versus somebody who's negative, because there's still a chance that the HIV virus can still be in those organs and in those, wherever those T helper cells are at, guess what? The virus is there. And T helper cells move amongst the body. They go wherever they think that an infection is going to occur. Okay? So, yeah. At most, at the least, there's at least, at the lowest amount of blood in the body, you still have about 90,000 HIV cells that are in the body. So that is one of the reasons why. All right. I see the ones. Okay. Put that to the side. And close that back up. All right. So does that make sense why people can't just donate blood? All right. So y'all ready for this? And I'm going to read this because I want y'all to get what it's saying. And then I'm going to also break it down a little more. Okay. So where did HIV come from? Research shows that HIV-1. Now, I need y'all to understand there are 2 types of HIV. HIV-1 and HIV-2. HIV-1 is the HIV we all know. If somebody says, oh, I'm HIV positive, more than likely it's HIV-1. HIV-2 is the HIV that you find primarily in one region, and that is West Africa. Okay? Unless someone has relocated from West Africa to other regions, you're only going to primarily find this in West Africa. Okay? So typically when you're hearing us talking about HIV, we're talking about HIV-1. All right. It's the most common type of HIV worldwide. first infected humans in sub-Saharan Africa at some point in the first half of the 20th century. It was transmitted from chimpanzees when people came into contact with their blood through hunting or butchering. HIV probably remained confined to Africa for many decades, in part because travel within and from Africa was uncommon then. We have definite proof of human HIV infection in Africa dating back to 1959. The virus eventually spread beyond Africa, probably entering the United States in the mid to late 1970s. Unusual cases of rare infections and cancer began to be seen in gay and bisexual men between 1979 and 1981. And the AIDS epidemic is said to have begun when these reports first appeared in medical journals in 1981, making it clear that there was an emerging epidemic. The HIV virus was discovered in 1983, leading to a blood test and eventually to treatment. Hey, Granny Bacon, Happy New Year. The disease was originally reported in gay and bisexual men, but the risk groups were later expanded to include injection drug users, hemophiliacs, and Haitians. It eventually became clear that the risk behaviors were more important than risk groups. People could be infected through unprotected sex, exposure to infected blood, or through childbirth or breastfeeding. It's estimated that more than 35 million children and adults were infected with HIV worldwide as of 2013. All right. Anybody got questions about what I just said? I need you to ask them questions now, because once I continue, I want to make sure everybody is clear on what they just heard. Because this is the truth. Everybody wants to say, oh, this was something that was created in the lab, and na. Now, granted, we know chimpanzees are animals that are typically used in laboratories for different testings and things. Even sometimes now, they're still have, you see all them, you seen the monkeys escape in South Carolina. Was that South Carolina? You seen all them monkeys that escaped, right? So we know that they are still keeping chimpanzees in laboratories for various things. However, the fact of the matter is, and a lot of animals also have their own form of the HIV virus. Some people don't know that. Cats have FIV. Chimpanzees have with the monkey? They have the primate version of it. SIV, which is simian. FIV is feline for cats. So there's cats and monkeys that also have their own version of the HIV virus. Yeah, you can, if you have a cat that has FIV and they end up scratching you or you come in contact with their blood, they can transmit the virus to you as a human. And you can end up having HIV from a cat. That's why a lot of people are afraid to foster or take in cats that have FIV. Because they're afraid of the risks that come associated with it. So just like it said right here, what happened? They were hunting these chimpanzees that had the SIV. They were hunting those chimpanzees. Those chimpanzees in turn had the virus. You said, so does HIV-1 test for HIV-2 also? A lot of the quick tests, I'm going to say this, Lutera, a lot of the quick tests test for both. A lot of the quick tests do test for both. However, the best way to be tested for both is through a blood draw. I recommend HIV testing through the blood anyway, because that's going to give you the most accurate testing. Yes, the quick tests are there. They give you an initial result, but going through and getting the actual blood drawn and sent to the lab, I feel is sometimes the best testing. All right, Melissa, have a good one. So yeah, I recommend the blood test, but they do, like this test right here, the one that I just did, it tests for both. You see it has it on the packet, even though it's backwards, it says HIV-1 and HIV-2 antibody test. So it tests for both. What about dogs? Let me see. Let me see. Cause there are certain, I'm finna find out for you, Phyllis. I got you, boo. Let me see. All right, so let's see. Because I will say a lot of the other animals that could have a form of HIV, is because they've been used and tested, okay? I'm sorry for y'all. It's me, okay? I'm just yarning. All right, so of course chimpanzees. You got chimpanzees, gorillas, African monkeys. There are more than 40 species of African monkeys that have SIV, which is the simian immunodeficiency virus. And the gorillas, and again the chimpanzees. It does. So what happens in the chimpanzees is that it doesn't cause AIDS-like symptoms. So when these animals or species have their form of HIV, and they don't like have medicines and all that stuff, because I mean they're monkeys and things. They don't go through like the whole AIDS-like symptoms that we do, but they do deal with certain things. Other animals that have been used for HIV research are gibbons. I don't know if you guys know what the gibbons, rabbits, and humanized mice. So no, as far as I have heard, I've never heard dogs. That's why I was like, let me go check, because I don't think I've ever heard of dogs. Of course, cats. Like I said, you have FIV. The biggest two things that I've noticed were FIV and SIV. I've never seen anything when it came to dogs. So HIV does not affect dogs. Even if a dog is exposed, a dog is not going to contract the virus, okay? Let's see. I'm just trying to check other animals. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other animals that it's affecting. So, and I believe that really, honestly, if you look at the genetic makeup of humans and chimpanzees, it's very close in correlation. You know, they always say, oh, we evolved from monkeys and things like that, but I think that is why it's such a close correlation. And then also, I'm not sure why with felines. I'm not sure the correlation with felines, because I don't really know. I'm not a cat person, so I don't really know a whole lot about cats to understand why cats can have their own version of it. So that might be something that I look into more this year. Why is it that cats, deal with it? All right, so, all right, let me make sure there's no more questions before I move on. Hello, everyone. I know I've been on here. You're welcome, Phyllis. All right, we only got a couple more questions to answer. All right, question number 9. Oh, Special said, hold on. Special said, what are the symptoms? So, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Actually, we're going to get into that in these next couple questions. So, if you could hold out for a few minutes, hold out for a few minutes. I'm going to answer that for you. So if animals can get it, what about the animals that are consumed? Well, see, that's exactly what happened, Denise. So that's what happened in Africa. That is exactly how it went from the chimpanzees to the humans in Africa. Because not only were they hunting, they were also eating and consuming these monkeys. That was a thing they did. Early 1900s, Africa, their main source of food was everything around them. They didn't have no grocery store. They weren't going to the grocery store. They were outside hunting, getting their food, and things like that. And so, once they were eating it, you know, they were exposing themselves to the virus from not only eating it, because a lot of times they weren't fully cooking the monkeys. So they were exposing themselves to it on multiple levels, from the fact they were hunting them to the fact that they were eating them. So yeah. But if it's an animal that ate it or consumed it that couldn't get the virus, then they just can't get it. I said cats can get it. Yes, there is a HIV version of HIV for cats. It's called feline immunodeficiency virus, FIV. Okay. So yeah. All right. How does HIV make you sick? HIV can cause an array of illnesses. It can damage the immune system. And like I said, what happens is your CD4 count, those T helper cells that help you fight off infection, the more those are invaded and taken over by the HIV virus, the more sick you can become. And this goes into the question that Special was asking. So what are some reasons, and how would I know? A lot of different reasons. So a lot of people have said that, they feel like they had like a cold or the flu symptoms. Some people associated with diarrhea. Some people associated with having a cold, and they was like, well, I had a quick cold. It was here, it went away, type of thing. But the reality of all of that is the symptoms that are associated with HIV can be symptoms for anything. It could be symptoms for the common cold. It could just be a common cold and not be nothing associated with HIV. So it's really hard to determine if a sign or a symptom has anything to do with HIV. So that's why it's important to go and get tested. HIV is not in saliva. You would have to have gallons and gallons and gallons of saliva ingested into yourself to contract the HIV virus from saliva. Saliva has too much acid. Saliva is very acidic. So, sorry, y'all. So the virus cannot live in a lot of acidity. And the virus does not live outside the body. So say somebody, I know they say, people with HIV, if you spit on somebody, they be ready to put you in jail. I mean, that's because a lot of people didn't realize you couldn't get HIV from spit and saliva. I mean, it's gross as hell to spit on somebody. I mean, shoot, I might fight you for spitting on me. But I'm not going to assume because you spit on me that you're giving me HIV or anything like that. But it's one of those things that people just have to get educated on and learn. No, HIV is not in saliva. It's not in sweat. It's not in tears. None of that. Okay? So yeah, it can damage the immune system if you don't have enough T helper cells to help you fight. So that's why a lot of people just get sick, because they're not taking their medicine. Simple. Take your medicine if you're HIV positive and you will not get sick. Period. Now here's the question somebody asked earlier. What is the difference between HIV and AIDS? And listen, I'm going to read you exactly what it says, because I have said this over and 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 over again. For some reason, I don't know. I guess people just be like, man, she might know what she talking about, but then she might not. You know what I'm saying? But I guess if I read it directly from what the hell these people telling y'all in this book, then maybe y'all will be like, well, damn, she doing a little something because she said exactly this. Let's see. They're still eating them. I saw a recent video on TikTok. Yeah, Lutera, it's a thing. It's a thing. I heard a rash in the mouth can be a sign. So thrush or thrush. Some people say thrush. So special thrush. Now listen, you know babies and infants get thrush too in their mouth. You know you gotta give them the little blue dye in their mouth be all purple and all that. Thrush is just a buildup of yeast in the mouth. So yes, yeast can be a sign of HIV virus in adults, but thrush can also be a sign of other things too. That's why I say you cannot take, like, for example, a rash in the mouth. You can't just take a rash and say, oh, dang, they got HIV, or, oh, they got herpes because they got a bump on their lip. All bumps on lips are not herpes, okay? I need y'all to understand that. Okay? So, yeah. All right. Number 10. What is the difference between HIV and AIDS? Everyone who has AIDS has the HIV infection. I've said this a million times. There is nobody in this world who is going to have an AIDS diagnosis and they don't have HIV. You don't get an AIDS diagnosis if you aren't HIV positive, okay? Okay? But not everyone who has HIV has AIDS. First thing somebody say, oh, you got AIDS? No, I don't. I ain't ever had AIDS. I have never had AIDS. I'm HIV positive, but I've never had AIDS. So I need y'all to understand that. Everybody who is HIV positive has never had AIDS. Okay? Now, what does AIDS stand for again? Human immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired, okay? It's acquired. Listen, I swear I feel like I wrote this book because this book is literally breaking it down the exact way that I always tell you guys. It's acquired because you only get it by being infected with HIV from someone else who has it. Immunodeficiency means it causes damage to the immune system. It's a syndrome because in the years before HIV was discovered and identified as the cause of AIDS, we recognized a collection of symptoms and complications, including infections and cancers that occurred in people who had common risk factors. I always say this. What do I always tell y'all? It's something you acquire that affects your immune system that is a syndrome. I always say this. Lord, I always say this. Okay? Okay? The term AIDS came about in 1982. HIV hadn't been discovered yet. So there was no way to know whether people were infected until they were sick. Someone was said to have AIDS if he, and it was mostly men in those days, developed one of the long list of opportunistic infections. I always talk about opportunistic infections. Hey, Marva, thank you. Opportunistic infections and cancers that don't occur in people with healthy immune systems. After HIV was discovered and a test became available, the definitions of AIDS changed so that having a positive HIV test was required. In 1993, the CDC expanded the definition of AIDS to include people with CD4 counts less than 200. So, when you're looking at your CD4 count, CD4 counts, you want to be a high number. You want it to go, a lot of times, you really want it to be well over 200. Sometimes well over 500. And if you good, over 1,000, okay? You want that CD4 number to be high because when that CD4 number goes under 200, that is when you are diagnosed as being someone who has AIDS, okay? That is like the actual current definition. This is a big thing for me. This is something I want everybody that's listening right now, replay, live, whatever. This is a word. This is something I want you to stop saying. I want you to stop saying full-blown AIDS. Please stop saying that. Avoid it at all costs. It's old, unnecessary, and it's scary as hell, okay? It puts people in such an uproar when you say full-blown AIDS. Because listen, it ain't even a useful term. Like, it's not even useful. You want to know why? Because there's no such thing as full-blown. You know how they be saying, oh, I'm a borderline diabetic? That means, the line right here, I'm right here. I can either have diabetes or not. But I'm borderline. I'm kind of seesawing it. Ain't no seesawing it with HIV. Either you have HIV or you don't. There's no in between. There's no little bit or a lot of it. It's you either have HIV or you don't. So there's no such thing as full-blown anything. You either get an AIDS diagnosis or you don't get an AIDS diagnosis. There's never going to be an in-between when it comes to an AIDS diagnosis. So there's no purpose of saying full-blown AIDS. It's not. It's no purpose at all. It causes more harm than good, actually, when you guys use that term. Because then I got to come behind you and try to explain to people why it's not good. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Thank you. Lutero, girl, they be sounding crazy. It's kind of confusing because an individual can take their medicine and still die. Rhonda, are they actually truly taking their medication? Are you watching them actually take their medication every day as prescribed by their doctor? Is my question. Or, now that's one reason, or do they have other complications? Because if someone who is HIV positive and even someone with an AIDS diagnosis, if they pass away, more than likely they didn't die from the HIV virus. They died from one of those opportunistic infections that they acquired that their body couldn't fight. There's a difference. So yes, people can still die, but they're not dying from the HIV virus. They're dying from the complications that their body have acquired from other opportunistic infections that they've gotten. So that is why you still see that people are dying, but they're only dying. The only thing that is a correlation is the fact that they're actually HIV positive. They didn't die from the HIV virus. I can almost guarantee you they didn't die from that. They died because maybe they got into an AIDS diagnosis, and the AIDS diagnosis, even though the AIDS diagnosis is treatable, and they can correct the AIDS diagnosis and they can go back out of an AIDS diagnosis status. If you acquire certain opportunistic infections while you're in an AIDS diagnosed state, that can take your life. Especially if you end up getting some type of staph infection, some type of pneumonia, certain types of skin cancers and lesions and different things, that can take you out of here. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was because it was in direct correlation to them being HIV positive, if that makes sense. So yeah, the virus itself is not what's doing it. It's, like you said, the complication from the AIDS. So the medicine, I can almost guarantee you, whatever treatment they were getting to fight the HIV virus was probably working. But because they ended up going into an AIDS diagnosed status, whatever complication they acquired, their body just couldn't handle it and couldn't fight it. That was the biggest issue. That's why I tell people, like, you don't want to get that far. You do not want to get that far. So many things can happen. You can lose your vision. You can lose your ability to control your bowels. You can do a lot of things. Can somebody type in the chat and tell Phyllis if she can't hear to leave and come back? Sometimes the audio kind of do that to people. Somebody let her know. Just leave and come back. All right. Let's see. So yeah, avoid using the term full-blown AIDS, okay? All right. Now, here are a few things. Here are a few conditions that can give doctors a sign that you might be going into an AIDS diagnosed state, okay? Okay? And this is typical, okay? She has skin infections, yeah. All right, so Candida esophagitis. I'm getting tongue-tied, and I know how to say this word. Esophagitis, okay? Candida esophagitis. Look, bump it. Your throat, damn it. Shit. Basically, this is, and it's rare. Basically, having yeast in your throat. So yeah, you can get a yeast infection in your throat. Any part of your body that can get moist, any part of your body that can get moist can have a yeast infection. That's why a lot of times you ever seen them old women, they'll put powder in their cleavage. You know, they put powder under their arms, powder in their groin, because anywhere, any crack and crevice on your body that can sweat can cause yeast. And your throat is wet. You swallow saliva all day long. Okay? Cervical cancer can be a sign. Not to say that cervical cancer is always a sign, because, you know, of course it's not. You have things like lymphoma, and then the skin lesions, Kaposi sarcoma. What else? Let's see. How long after does it take to acquire the AIDS virus? Is it years? All right, I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break that down in my next question. So just certain little things, if somebody's HIV positive, that can happen. Okay. She might have to close the whole Facebook app and come back too. Sometimes you got to force close the whole app. All right, so let's go to question 11. Question 11 says, what are the stages of HIV infection? Now, I like this question and I don't, because I need people to understand that there really is no definite, like, set in stone stage. But a lot of places, when you go and do a lot of research and ask about stages, they are going to give you stages. They're going to give you stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 type of thing. Okay? So I'm just going to give you the simplest way. Hold on. It is the virus and opportunity to infection. With the virus, without the virus, there is no infection. The virus replicates into various symptoms. Okay. Yeah, Mitchell. Okay. All right. So the first, basically, what they're calling the first stage of HIV infection is what you deal with in the first weeks of actually contracting the virus. This is basically when people say, oh, those little signs and symptoms and things. This is like where, this is the moment, I call this what is it? It's that window. It's that little window. There's a window period where you don't go and get tested. So the first stage is that window period. If you go, say you had sex, and then say next week, you had unprotected sex this week, and then you say, okay, next week I'm going to go and get tested and make sure I don't have HIV because I just had unprotected sex last week. You're not going to get an accurate test result. You're not. Your test is going to probably say you're negative. And when they ask you when was the last time you had unprotected sex, and you tell them last week, they're going to say, oh, no, you got to wait a little longer than that before you come in here and get tested. Okay? So, yeah. That is like in that whole little beginning stage. And that's when a lot of times people say they experience little symptoms, and a lot of people can be asymptomatic. Now, after that initial primary stage, there's what's called that latency stage. So this is now the period where this is a period where you feel fine. You went through saying, oh, I had a little cough or a little cold. Oh, that was just my sinuses or whatever. And now you feel fine. You're like, okay, I'm good. Boom, boom, boom. I'm good. You're going to feel good. But what's something you're going to start noticing? Them lymph nodes going to be swollen. You got lymph nodes in your armpits and your groin. Lymph nodes are going to start swelling. I tell people all the time, your lymph nodes, those are your body's natural indicators. If you have swollen lymph nodes, your lymph nodes are typically right here behind your jawline, right under your ear, right here. Sometimes if you push them, you can kind of feel it, or you can. Sometimes if I push it, I can like hear. I don't know. It's weird how to explain it, but your lymph nodes sit right here, and you can feel it. It feels like a little bulb. If they're swollen, you'll actually be able to see them. Like they'll kind of protrude out a little bit from that area. You have lymph nodes under your armpits. In your groin area, you have lymph nodes in your breast area as well. Okay? Those are indicators that something is wrong. That means your body is trying to fight some type of infection. Okay? I have questions about weight loss. When a person gets diagnosed, my friend's dad was big. All of a sudden, he started losing a lot of weight. He passed. He was so small. He progressed to AIDS. Does it directly eat away the fat? Honestly, no. Deshonda, I know people that passed away with an AIDS diagnosis that was 300 pounds. It does not necessarily mean that you are going to lose weight. A lot of people that actually lose weight, they lose weight due to depression. They lose weight due to maybe the medication causing them to not eat. Maybe it makes them nauseous and they vomit and things like that. But it's not like the losing weight part is not necessarily a correlation of them having an AIDS diagnosis. It's just basically the person's body. Nobody knows what their body is going to do when they're put in a situation. When I had shingles last year, and in 2023, when I had shingles, I lost weight. Guess what? I was still undetectable with the HIV virus. I didn't have an AIDS diagnosis, but them shingles made me lose weight. I got down to like 120. I think I got down to almost maybe under 120 pounds. I was sick from just having shingles. So, and my virus was fine. So I think it just really depends on a person's body, how they deal with the whole losing weight type of thing and all that. Okay. All right. So you go through that asymptomatic stage. Then after that, because now maybe you positive, you haven't went and gotten tested. Now you're going to start going through the symptomatic stage. You're going to start going through, like we just discussed. Sometimes people do go through that weight loss. You go through the thrust, which is the yeast infection in the mouth. They can go through having persistent diarrhea, night sweats, fatigue. It's a whole lot of different things that you can go through in that symptomatic stage. Because again, you passed the acute stage where you maybe had a little cough, cold. That went away. Then you was fine. Oh, shoot, I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. My test was negative. And then now, boom, you're symptomatic and you're experiencing other things. Okay, now what's wrong? Okay. Then, excuse me. Then you end up going into what they call the more severe stage because you ain't when it got tested, you ain't taking no medicine. You're like, oh, I'm just getting old. These probably just, hot flashes. Ain't nothing. I'm just old. I'm just getting old. And now you creeping into what we call the AIDS diagnosis. Now your CD4s are getting low. You're going under that window of falling below 200. And this can happen whether you have symptoms or not. So not everybody who goes under 200 with their CD4 is going to have symptoms. You're not. But once someone goes under 50, that is when we consider them to be in advanced AIDS stage. That is when it can be fatal, okay? If your CD4 count gets below 50, you can be creeping towards a fatal diagnosis, okay? And if you don't get the virus diagnosed and treated in the early stages versus the late stages, then of course, yes, there's nothing that really can be done, because you may acquire something that no matter what they're doing to treat the actual virus, because now you've acquired a cancer or some other type of infection, there's nothing that can be done. Girl, Marva, listen, Marva, do I need, listen, I wish I could go back and show you the people that's been following me. Marva, oh, you was following me 2 years ago. So you don't remember when I was in the hospital, probably around when you first started following me? I had November 2023, I had shingles. November 2023, I had shingles. Right before Thanksgiving, I was in the hospital twice with shingles. Because I had chickenpox as a kid, so as an adult, I was able to have shingles at any point in my life. But yeah, shingles ain't nothing fun about it. Yeah, so I'm undetectable, Latrice. I'm undetectable. I cannot transmit the virus to anyone else. I do not get sick, pretty much. I mean, of course, my normal stuff, like I have sinus issues that I've had since I was a little kid. But nothing like, none of that. I'm a diabetic, but that has nothing to do with the HIV virus. I was a diabetic before I was HIV positive. And some of you guys are just coming on here. I had a test that I had here at home that I took, because one of the questions someone asked earlier in this live was, can you be undetectable and you test negative? And I will tell you, never let anyone tell you that they took an HIV test and it said that even though they know they got HIV, that it was going to show negative. I am HIV positive. I am undetectable and have been undetectable for over a year now. And I took an HIV test, and those 2 dots mean that I'm HIV positive. Although I am undetectable, this says that I'm HIV positive. So there is no test that somebody's going to be able to take that is going to tell them, oh yeah, you HIV positive, but the test is showing negative. Don't let nobody tell you that. That's not true, okay? I need y'all to understand that. All right. Boom. Look. Boom. Like old girl on Tyler Perry movie. All right, let's go to question 12. We only got question 12, 13, and 14 to go. Then we done. And then anything else y'all want me to answer, I can answer it. Oh, you saw me in the hospital, but you didn't know what was wrong. Yeah, girl, there was them shingles. They was beating my head. So my shingles were right here. I don't know if I still, let me see. So my shingles were right here on my abdomen. Let me see. I think I still might have a little. So these couple little dark spots you see are like the post scars from when I had the shingles, because they left like bruising. So like these here. That most of that is from the tape. So most of that scarring you see is from the tape, because what happens when you have shingles, you don't want anybody to come in contact when you have active shingles. So when they're still like red and all, I had to keep them covered. So I had them covered with like gauze and the little cream stuff, and I had tape. My skin does not like certain tape, and so I kind of got bruising from the tape. But my shingles was right there. They never went on this side. They never went to the back. I think I had one like on the side over here, but it was right here. Every now and then I still get this little tingly feeling, but that's just because the nerves haven't reconnected all the way. Because that's basically what shingles does. Shingles causes nerve damage. And so I still have some nerves that are still trying to reconnect in this area. So every now and then I get that little tingly feeling. If you ever had a C-section, you know that little tingly feeling you get around your little C-section scar. Kind of feels like that. And so, yeah. So I had the shingles because my body got into a stress mode. My son had a massive seizure that sent him school, sent him to the emergency room, and it put me into an ultimate stress level. And the doctors was like, you stressed yourself out. And I'm like, you're damn right I did. Because my son got rushed from school to the hospital. I wasn't there. I tried to get to the school before the ambulance left. Like it was a whole day of events. And that shot my stress level up so high that it caused me to have those shingles. Oh, I didn't, wait. I just did that. I think I just made fireworks or something. I don't know what it. Y'all seen the fireworks? I don't know how the hell I did that, but okay. Did y'all see them fireworks? I know I ain't the only one. I know I ain't crazy. But yeah, it shot it shot it up so high that I ended up going into having that situation happen. Oh, got you, Nicole. All right, so how is HIV spread? I've already talked about this. I feel like at this point, most of you guys should know it's spread through sexual transmission, blood-to-blood contact. Mothers can give it to their babies, and through breast milk. Now, there are a few things that have changed, okay? And I need you guys to understand some of these changes. If you are undetectable, the virus cannot be transmitted to another person, okay? When it comes to childbirth and delivery, as long as the mother remains undetectable their whole pregnancy, the baby will not contract the virus. Okay? And guess what else? As long as a mother who has given birth is undetectable, they will not give the baby the virus through breast milk. They can successfully breastfeed their child and know that as long as they're undetectable, they cannot transmit the virus to the baby through their breast milk. How fucking amazing is that? Excuse my French. Listen, because I remember being pregnant with the twins, even being pregnant with my 10-year-old. And the doctors is like, yeah, you can't breastfeed. You can't do this, you know. Now, you can breastfeed. You can do these things. How do I make it? I wanted to do it again. I don't know how I did it, y'all. I know I put 2 thumbs up. Ah, there you go. Oh. Look, I wonder what else I could do. Let me see. Do that do something? Because sometimes that do something. I know thumbs up. I got a crooked thumb, so my thumbs up don't never work. I know it's a way you could do a thumbs up, and it'll put, like, the little thumbs up, thumbs down. But, shoot, just the fact that it did them fireworks. Ah! Let me see if I can do it one more time. Come on, fireworks. Yeah! Okay. All right, I'm done. My little cricket thumb's good for something around here. Oh, my goodness. Girl, I didn't know what it was either. It popped up and was like, oh, I activated it. I guess when I did that, it activated it, child. I don't know. Because it popped up across the bottom and was telling me something. Child. All right. Okay, we done had our little firework fun. So, yeah. So, that's some of the new things that have taken place as things have advanced and progressed in science. Mothers can breastfeed. Mothers can have babies born negative. They can have partners that remain negative as long as they're undetectable. Listen, so many advances, all right? Number 13, how can HIV infection be prevented? Condoms. Use your condoms, people. Use your condoms. If you HIV negative, stay that way. Use condoms. Get your partner tested so you know what they got. Stop having oral sex without protective barriers. Listen, I know, ain't no men around here really, like, they just putting their mouth down there. I know, women just putting their mouth down there. Ladies, flavored condoms are for oral sex, not for regular sexual intercourse. Flavored condoms are for oral sex. That's what they there for. You know, that's what they're there for. Use them. Listen, men and women, stop putting your mouths on people and you don't know what they got. Now, if this is your husband or your wife or your lifelong partner, you know what they got, they know what you got. Okay, cool, understandable. But don't just be out here giving a random stranger or somebody you don't really know like that oral sex without a flavored condom or some type of protective barrier. For men giving women, or for basically not even for men, just for anybody giving a woman oral sex, you have dental dam. Hell, if you want to be cheap and you ain't got it, you go get some saran wrap. They feel the same. Trust me, I tested it out. Okay, you welcome. It feels the same. You don't know the difference. You don't even notice that anything is there. Okay, so there's no reason that anybody should be out here putting themselves at risk for any type of STD when there's so many things that you can do to protect yourself. Okay, what's up, Rico? The 2-finger piece. I tried to do it. It ain't work. Oh, confetti. Ah! You saw the confetti? Look, we got to find out all the little things I could do. Hold on. Y'all got me. Y'all play too much. Let me see. Now I got to see what all the stuff. Let me see what it say you could do. How do I find what you could do? Wait. What do they call it? I don't know what they call. Exactly. Marva said, y'all better put y'all raincoats on. Yes, put your raincoats on. Oh, let me see. I don't know how to, I don't know what to Google to tell me the different things to do. I know a thumbs up usually put a little thumbs up thing, but, oh, there you go. I got it. If I put a thumbs down, y'all know I got a broke thumb. Not broke, but it's crooked. I did get it to do it once. Hey! It don't like my thumb. I know you got thumbs up. I should be able to do thumbs down. I know 2 thumbs up. Do the fireworks. I'm trying to think if I do a heart, do the heart work? Oh, it does the hearts. I was wondering if the hearts would work. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. What else? What else? What else can I do? I don't know. I don't know. If y'all find it, let me know. But yeah. And then now, PrEP. You got PrEP and PEP. You got PrEP and you got PEP, okay? PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. Those are medications that you can take that prevents someone who is negative from contracting the HIV virus in the event that they are having sexual intercourse in a relationship or married to someone who is HIV positive. This is a medication that you can take, and there's multiple different types of medicines that they use for PrEP that you can take to prevent the infection. Simple. And then you also have PEP, which is post-exposure prophylaxis. So basically with PEP, PEP is what you would take after you've been exposed. Say you have sex with somebody, the condom breaks, and it's within 72 hours. You go to emergency room or somewhere, they will give you the emergency PEP medications for you to take. Okay. Let's see. And number 14. All right. I told you we was doing questions 1 through 14 today. So here's question number 14. And I appreciate you guys who have been sticking this out with me this whole live. We've been on here since noon going through this, and I've enjoyed it. I hadn't been live in a while, so I've actually enjoyed this live. If you guys have enjoyed this live, yes, put some hearts. Put some hearts up. Put some hearts up. Put some hearts up. Yeah. Put them hearts up. Ooh. Put lots of hearts. Make sure you guys are sharing this out. Share. I'm actually going to take this live also and put it on YouTube, so it'll be on there as well. I'll download it when I'm done and put it upload it to YouTube. All right, question 14. Question 14 says, why isn't there a cure? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. So I want to read to you guys what it says here, and then I want to also give you my reasoning why I feel like there's not a cure. And it's going to be a part of what this says too. But if you follow me for a while and you heard me talk and do my little education, you also will know that I always say this stuff. Like, it's crazy. Have you been around to do presentations? Have I been allowed to do presentations at schools? No, Deshonda. I did a presentation at a school twice, maybe 3 times. One was actually a public high school here in Tampa. When I lived in Orlando, one of my friends that lives here, one of my classmates, had a school they wanted me to come and speak to, and I talked to a health class there. I've spoken at 2 private schools as well, but for the most part, not really. I really think it needs to be in schools. Schools need to allow it, but they just have this whole meaning why they won't, which is crazy. All right. Why isn't there a cure? Given how long the disease has been around, it may seem strange that we haven't found a cure for HIV infection yet. Conspiracy theorists, all y'all conspiracy theorists argue that a cure exists, but it's being suppressed by profit-motivated drug companies or by evil governments trying to cull their population of less desirable elements. I'll leave that discussion for later, okay? And we'll talk about science here, because y'all know, for one, I'm all about science anyway. It may surprise you to learn that there's only one viral disease that has ever been cured with medical treatment, and that's hepatitis C. All other viral diseases either kill you quickly, like the Ebola virus, getting better on their own, like the common cold, or remain dormant in your body forever, like herpes, or preventable with vaccinations, like the measles. The fact that HIV hides out by inserting its DNA into long-lived human cells make it especially difficult, a difficult problem to tackle. And I've always told you guys this. I've already said this, okay? Definitely have said this. It's worth noting that most of the other diseases that we suffer from in the developed world are also chronic, incurable, but treatable diseases. Think of diabetes, coronary artery disease, congenital heart failure, arthritis. None of them are curable, but all of them are manageable, though they tend to be harder to manage than the HIV infection. Since they wrote the first edition to this book, they became more optimistic about the possibility of a cure. You may have heard of my great friend. I love you, Tim. Oh my gosh. Timothy Ray Brown was one of my really good friends. He was HIV positive. He lived in Berlin, and he was the very first patient. He was the very first HIV positive person with leukemia who was cured of the HIV virus after having a bone marrow transplant using marrow from a donor who was genetically immune to HIV because of the Delta 32 mutation. You guys, if you follow me for a while, you've heard me talk about Tim. You've heard me talk about this Delta 32 mutation, okay? This book that I'm using as a guide to help me go through these 100 questions is talking about it as well. If I'm talking about it, they talking about it, others are talking about it, then I need you guys to understand this is something that literally, you know, it's literally something. All right. So that is how those few people who have who've been called cured or functionally cured, all of them were treated for leukemia. Every person that right now who has ever had who you've heard them say they've been cured is because they had leukemia. They received a bone marrow transplant from someone who had bone marrow and their body had the Delta 32 mutation. What is the Delta 32 mutation? All right. The Delta 32 mutation simply means that protein, let me show you. Let me find it on here. Let me find it. I'm trying to look at this diagram so I can find the exact thing I want to show you. All right. So, on this diagram, hold on. Let me see. Let me pull this one up. Yeah, I messed my book up, y'all. But on this diagram right here, you see those little receptors there? These little receptors have a protein on them. The only way that this HIV virus cell can invade this T helper cell is because of a protein. It's a protein that is on the side, outside of the T helper cell. If that protein is not on the outside of that T helper cell, guess what? That means that person is immune from contracting the HIV virus. Yes, there are people in this world who will never, ever, ever contract the HIV virus because they're immune. They don't have that protein on their T helper cells to allow the HIV virus to invade. That protein has to be there for the virus to invade it because that virus eats away at that cell in order to get into that receptor, to get into that T helper cell. So that is how they were able to cure those people that have been cured. Because guess what? Once they got that new bone marrow, and that new bone marrow had cells in it that could not be invaded by the HIV virus, guess what? The HIV virus had no host to attack. All viruses need a host. Once there's no host for the HIV virus to attack, guess what happens? It dies. It dies. Now, why can't they do this for everybody? Number one, a bone marrow transplant is extremely invasive and sometimes can be fatal. It can be fatal if not, not everyone will accept a bone marrow transplant. Some people's body will reject that bone marrow that they're getting transplanted. So that is why this is one of those ways. They can't just take this and do for everyone and say, oh yeah, we got a cure. They can't take that and use that as a cure because not everyone's body will accept a bone marrow transplant. Many will reject it. Okay? So what happens is, and again, like I said, and plus this is what it says here. Bone marrow transplants are expensive, risky procedures, and people who get them require lifelong immunosuppression to prevent rejection. But Timothy Ray Brown's experience tells us that the cure is possible and may point us to safer ways to achieve this goal. So we know This is a way that we can achieve a cure, but we know that this is not going to be that be-all, end-all cure. There are a number of cure mechanisms that are being studied. Latency reversing agents are drugs that activate or wake up infected resting CD4 cells. They're being studied in a shock and kill approach, where you attack the replicating virus with antiretroviral drugs after activating it with latency reversing agents, genetically modifying CD4 cells to make them uninfectable, like the cells that Timothy Ray Brown received in his bone marrow transplant. That could prevent HIV from infecting new cells. Immune-based therapies and therapeutic vaccines can help the immune system fight the HIV virus on its own. A cure could be sterilizing or functional. Sterilizing meaning the virus is completely eradicated, or functional, HIV is still present, but the immune system keeps it under control without art. Cure and eradication research is now a high priority by the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, worldwide, provided we continue to generously fund scientific research. The search for a cure will continue to be the focus of some of the best scientists. Listen, this is what I am here to do. Okay? I don't want to be an infectious disease physician just because, I want to get the money that doctors get. I want to get this and this. I want to be an infectious disease physician so that I can be up in these labs with these scientists and say, listen, no, we need to check this out. We need to do this. If I can sit here and understand this at this scientific level as someone who has been HIV positive for 17 years, why can't I go in here and do this and do this work? I could go in here and do this. That is my goal. That's why I keep telling y'all. When your purpose slapping you in the face, you answer it. So is there a test where you can see if you are immune to HIV? Let me see it. I think they have a way to see. Let me see. Let me see. I think let me make sure. All right. So, yes. So there is a genetic test available to detect Delta 32 mutation, specifically referring to what it is. It's a CCR5 Delta 32 mutation, and they do have a test. Let me see. What is it? So it basically looks for that specific mutation. And it's a blood test. So it is a test that they can do. So yeah, if you want to know if you have a Delta 32 mutation, there's a test for it. You can find out and possibly get the test for it. All right, okay, let's see. We on question. What question were we on? Weren't we on 14? I think we are. Yeah, we on question 14. So this was our last question. All right, so yeah. Let's see. We talked about that. We talked about sterilizing versus functional. All right, so in the meantime, it would be a mistake to look at cure as the only measure of success, okay? In the last 15 years, we have seen HIV go from almost universally fatal, untreatable, to manageable and a chronic disease. And treatment has become easier as the years have gone by, okay? Everything, as science has advanced, everything has become way easier to deal with and to manage. So yeah. All right, so we're going to stop right there. That was question 14. Next Friday, I'm going to pick up on question 15, which that starts with how is HIV diagnosed. We're going to go, let's see, which questions we're going to do. We're going to do questions 15. We'll do questions 15 through 26. 15 to 26 is the questions that we'll do next Friday. And those are going to consist of questions that are going to be talking about diagnosis. We're going to be talking about medical care. So things like finding the right doctor, what are the responsibilities of the doctor. We're going to talk about getting started. We're going to talk about what it means to understand your CD4 and your viral load. What other tests might you need to have? We're going to talk about vaccinations because there are a lot of things that people who are HIV positive need to make sure they're protecting themselves against. When it comes to certain vaccinations and certain things, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Again, like shingles. Shingles is something that if you're HIV positive, can be a risk factor for you because shingles does affects you a lot more than someone who isn't HIV positive. All right. I appreciate you guys. Listen, let me ask you guys a question for everybody that's still here with me right now. I have a calendar that I created. And I want to sell the calendar. But I want to know, do you guys like physical calendars or is everything so digital now? Like are people like so into this digital age, like they don't want physical calendars? Listen, y'all see, I have a calendar up on my wall. I like physical calendars. The one I'm doing is like a desk. It's like a smaller desk calendar where it can sit on a desk and you flip it over like that. And I want to do it, but I want to do it if people actually want it. The calendar is going to have each month has a picture and it has some quotes. I took some really good quotes that I found that I really like, that I feel like are inspirational, can help people. But I'm like, I don't know. Are people really into like physical calendar still or digital? Because then if it's digital, I got to figure out how the heck do I create a digital calendar? I don't know how to do none of this stuff. I know how to, I could do it, but so I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out. I don't know. But one other question. I was thinking about doing a free HIV 101 8-week course. It probably will have a lot of this information in it, but it would be more structured. And I would do it like as I get it. Like I will only do it if I have at least a minimum of 10 people that want to participate for each time I do it. It would be like an 8-week course where I will start and we'll go through different things dealing with HIV. And I was thinking, should I do that? That way it gives people the chance, like if there's something you really want to learn and something you really want to be educated on, then I can do it that way. Because I'm always going to do this every year, but I also want to continue to do it throughout the year, but on a more intimate level, and I want it to be what people want to learn, not I'm going live and you want to watch me live so you getting the information type of thing. So you guys let me know what you guys think. I may just do the physical calendar because like somebody said, they like, they'll if they had to choose, they would get a physical calendar. So I might still do it either way and try to figure out how to do digital as well. I don't know. And I still got books and stuff, so, and I still have not went on my website and changed the books. So my books are still on sale on my website. So if you need a book, go to my website and get a book from my website. They're on sale right now. Both of them. The two of the books that I have available, the team book and my autobiography, are both on sale. Go get you a copy. I will ship it out to you. Now I'm about to go eat because I'm hungry. I haven't ate. I didn't wake up until 11 something. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for sticking with me for these couple hours as we talked about this stuff. See you on next Friday. Mwah, 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 mwah. Much love. Look, you know, I got to do it one more time. Love. Fireworks. Come on, fireworks. Come on, do it. Do it, fireworks. One time for the road. Woo. Come on, fireworks. Come on. I know you can do it. My thumbs are not that crooked. Yay. Oh. Hold on. Confetti. Confetti. I got to figure out what the rest of them are. Jesus. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.